Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, March 27th, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, for starters, and this will end up being last, but not least today, you might say we broke a little news. You might say your favorite talk show host here behind the golden WIN microphone. You might say we broke a little news story. You might say we went a little viral last night after we saw some strange aerial phenomenons in the skies over West Austin. It kind of broke the story wide open, and I was really digging into it last night, and then I was really digging into it today. So I'm definitely going to be doing some follow-up. This is going to be towards the end of today's transmission, but I will be doing some follow-up with that, and I will tell you, last night after I saw that and then shared some of the other photos and videos of some of the other people in Austin that saw it, and then I did the deep dive into all the different aerial phenomenons that people have been witnessing and reporting, and it blew my mind. It was a little refreshing, I have to say, to not have to sift through the political madness for one night. So I went down the rabbit hole of all of these different aerial phenomenon sightings. A lot of wild stuff. I was able to talk to a couple people that witnessed it, and I was able to talk to people who are in the military and who work in astrophysics and rocket ship technology. So this is no lightweight topic, and I don't want to get too much into it now, but it's funny to me, and I don't really care. People can call me crazy and think I'm losing my mind. And, you know, it's the normal stuff where you insult conspiracy theorists, just like they did about the chemicals in the water and the food, and we were right about that. Just like they did about the chemtrails in the sky, and we were right about that. You know, we can go on and on. So I'm not really bothered by it. But this idea that, you know, I have no idea what I'm seeing. Okay, well, I talk to the experts. So if you want to discount my opinion, okay, I talk to the experts, as if I have not been alive for 36 years and been seeing planes in the sky. But I'm gonna really do a deep dive into that. We'll see if we can get to it in the second hour. It might take us to the third, but we are going to, last but not least, we're going to do a bit of a dive on that today. A bit of a dive. Not too deep because it would take too much time, and there is a bunch of political news. Holy market collapse. Holy market collapse. Now, what does that mean? What does the market collapse mean? We'll get into that. And then this goes along with the oil market news. This goes along with all of the other war news, all of the other Trump administration news. We got a couple of I told you so's today. We got a couple of hate to say I told you so's. We're going to be feathering our caps, feathering our nests with the Never Doubt Me folks today. We got a couple of those. Economic news, war news. We got some stuff out of CPAC that is going on. We got some video clips and some other developments out of CPAC. We have some statements from President Trump yesterday and I guess today. I think they might all be from yesterday, actually. There's one other clip. I don't know. It might be from today. So we do have some Trump clips. And then we're going to, before we do get to the aerial phenomenon news, UFO news, we're going to kind of bring all of that together. So the oil market news, the stock market news, the CPAC news, the Trump news, we're going to kind of bring all of that back together as we prepare for what could be a pretty eventful weekend. Oh, and all that cryptic posting by the White House, it was all for an app that wants to spy on you.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Guys, what are you doing drinking water from the tap? Are you listening to me? What are you thinking? Have you not done your proper research? What about the bottled water with all the microplastics? Are you still drinking that too? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Let me help you out. Let me do you a favor. Go to covepure.com/Owen and get the best water filter on the market. Get my favorite water filter ever, the Cove Pure Water Filtration System. Take your water filtration to the future with me and with Cove Pure at covepure.com/Owen. Now, here's why I say this is from the future. They have an LED-style readout screen on the front of it. You can kind of get the idea with the image that I'm sharing right here. And on this screen, all kinds of options for you. You can control the temperature of your water. You can control whether you want 6 ounces, 16 ounces, whatever you want. You can control how much water comes out of it. There is a pitcher, a removable pitcher, so you can take the pitcher off, pour glasses of water, whatever you want, water your plants. And then you put the pitcher back on the machine. It refills itself, auto refill on the pitcher. There's even a nice thing on there. And I hadn't said this before because I wasn't thinking about it until recently. I was wondering what the status of my actual filtration system was. There is a readout on the status. My filtration system, still good. Don't need to replace it yet. So it even tells you what the current status of your double filtration system is right there on the readout. So bring your water filtration to the future. Plus, reverse osmosis water filtration, it's about as good as it gets. Then it realkalizes the water before you drink it. That's what the Cove Pure water filtration system can do for you. Everybody that's purchased this loves it. I get so many people telling me how happy they are with this purchase. You won't regret it. And what are you doing? You don't want to drink the tap water. You learned about the microplastics. You probably don't want to drink the bottled water. So what's your option? It's the Cove Pure water filtration system. covepure.com/Owen. And don't forget, for my audience, for my listening audience at covepure.com/Owen, a $200 off offer for you. That's right. $200 off for this listening audience at covepure.com/Owen. Take advantage of that. Take advantage. All you got to do is go to covepure.com/Owen. You will not regret it. It'll be your favorite water filtration system ever. Everybody that comes into your house and drinks that water will be happy, and you can rest easy knowing that you have the best water filtration system on the planet. covepure.com/Owen.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy Friday. How are you guys doing today? Beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. Beautiful day. Almost a sin that I'm in the studio, but it's okay because I've got my little window. I can see outside. I can see the great weather. I can regret not being outside, but at least I know it's there. At least I get a little hint of it, you know? They don't have us all living in windowless, sunless prison cells yet. So I hope the weather's nice for you. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. Hope you've got some stuff to look forward to this weekend. For some of you, it might already be the weekend. as it's 3:15 Central Time. If you're out there on the East Coast, maybe it took off a little early today. Maybe you're thinking about that. So, guys, we've got the news for you today. I have to tell you, my process. If you listen to the show a lot, you know my process. Basically, the news aggregation process starts for me as soon as I sign off the show. For the next show, the news aggregation process immediately starts. And then around in the 1 o'clock hour before I go on air, that's when I do my final filtration process and aggregate what is going to make it onto the show. And we had, perhaps today, more news that is not going to make it onto the show. And I think for the main reason of these stories are either not going anywhere, or it's just it just keeps happening. It's the same story that just keeps getting reheated 100 times. And we usually have some pretty high numbers of super chats on a Friday. And so I want to make sure we have plenty of time to do that at the end of the show as well. And I really don't have a monologue planned because I would like to talk about what I saw last night. And maybe I'll just kind of do it briefly here as a tease, but I'm not going to get into the actual presentation, let's say, until I get through all of the news. But I think it's probably fair to say that we blew that story wide open. And I don't really know if it goes as viral as it does since last night if I wasn't posting about it, if I hadn't seen it even. If I hadn't seen it, I don't know if it really gets any of the attention it's getting. But it definitely went viral. The video that I shot last night got picked up by a bunch of different outlets and websites, got millions of views. They put it on World Star Hip Hop just to give you an idea of how far reaching it was. And luckily I've been around long enough and I've had enough professional training in this industry to know it was like, okay, I saw it. I posted about it a couple times. And then I saw there was some genuine interest and some curiosity and confusion. I said, okay, well, let me just shoot a video here real quick. You can see that video on my X account. I put down I was benching like 500 pounds or something. I don't remember what it was. I mean, massive weight. The most weight you've ever seen. Huge weight. So I put down the 10,000 pounds I was benching and shot that short video. I was like, okay, there's enough interest here. There's enough curiosity here. Let me just kind of sort this out in a quick video and then see where it goes. And so because of that, I was able to talk to people in the military. I was able to talk to people that work in, let's say, astrophysics, space technology. Let's put it like that. And for obvious reasons, I have to be careful not to say too much about these individuals because they don't want to be identified. But they shared with me some interesting information. And I'm able to kind of look at the map of everything else that I learned last night, look at the information. But here's what I find funny. This is where I'll kind of end it now, and we'll pick it back up later. I see the haters, let's say, or the doubters that want to call me crazy or insult me, and then they try to use that as like, see, this is why MAGA is failing. This is why Republicans are losing. You have crackpots like Owen Schroyer and all of this stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, I'm the one that's been proven right all these years, not you. But it just shows how desperate they are to tear down the actual influential people here. It shows you how desperate they are to actually tear down the people that built this movement that they've now stolen and are using like a digital skin suit politically. And I'm just like, this is the perfect example. All of you guys are commenting on something that you didn't see. You're all commenting on something that you didn't see. You're all commenting on something that you know nothing about. And then you're going to try to use that as an insult against me and then try to rehash this claim somehow that gatekeeping MAGA is the most important thing ever. And it's all Twilight Zone because it's the polar opposite of where we were at 10 years ago when you guys were trying to gatekeep MAGA out altogether. You guys, the Republican establishment that now is Trump, you guys tried to keep MAGA out. You didn't want Trump or MAGA anywhere near Republican Party politics. We beat you. Now you've stolen and co-opted our movement, and now you're deciding and gatekeeping who's in and who's out, who's a crackpot, who's not. And so it's kind of funny to me because I'm not even thinking politically about this stuff. It was actually refreshing to not have to watch Trump TV and to dive into a different rabbit hole last night. And then it's like, oh, here come the normal people. Here come the normal ankle biters. Here come the normal haters. It's like, you know what? Even if you think I'm crazy, can you just let me talk about fireballs in the sky in peace? You know, can I just have a moment of peace from you MAGA cultists? Please. Is there nothing I can do now without you guys trying to chase me down and pin me down and put a bunch of labels on me? Like what can I do? Can you just leave me alone? But no, I already knew this. So I already told you 2026 was the year of the MOG. 2026 was the year of the trigger. So I'm just going along with the plan here. So we'll lean in. We'll lean in today. We're going to get into some of these rabbit holes I went down. But aside from it's just like this whole political, it's like they're all reaching out of the depths to bring us down with them. And we're just totally rejecting it, laughing at them, pointing at them, laughing. But it really to me is the example of how toxic MAGA is now. And it's the proof positive that this truly is a cult. It's like they will not leave you alone. I could stop talking about politics for months and they would never leave me alone. I could do a whole month of shows talking about sports. I couldn't even mention Trump's name. And these same people will live in my replies. They'll continue to insult me and try to split me from MAGA or Trump or whatever it is. And it's just like, it's really just a sign of desperation from a cult that is falling apart, from a cult that has everybody leaving it. And it's just like, hey, I'm out. I left your cult. I'm going to go over here and do something else. It's like, oh, no, you're still the bad guy. We still hate you. We're still going to expose you. We're going to still make sure this, and you have no influence. Okay. But did you see? No, I didn't see. I'm just going to comment on something I didn't see and attack you because that's the flavor of the month. But anyway, happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. So with that, we'll get back into detail at the end of the show today. We'll get back into detail on that. That's going to be the last stack of content, let's say, that we have for today. In the meantime, let's get into the news. Holy market crash. Folks, they're calling it a correction, and maybe that's fair. Stock market, Dow falls over 790 points, enters a correction. S&P 500 and NASDAQ close sharply lower on risk of a prolonged Iran war. But it's not a war. That's some of the stuff that doesn't even make the news today. I'm not covering the Senate bill that's a disaster. I'm not covering Trump desperate to get funding for DHS, wants to sign some bill. Congress leaving D.C. That's the morale factor we talked about Tuesday. The long lines at the airport. All of that stuff doesn't even make the news today. Well, what's going on with the stock market? Now, you have to understand when you're following this administration, and this has been the case since Trump got in, there is a direct connection to what's going on in the White House with the administration and what's going on in the stock market. And it's not a foolproof system, but it's a highly accurate system to kind of base future predictions off of. So it's like, okay, the administration is doing this, the stock market's going to do this. The stock market's doing this, that means the next move from the administration is going to be this. It has been a very accurate formula to figure out what is really going on behind the scenes. And if you're really smart, there's two ways you can use it. You can use it to do predictions in a broadcast or to do predictions in the stock market. Okay, so then what does it mean? What does it mean that the stock market is tanking here right before we go into the weekend? Well, I would say that means that something big is going to happen this weekend, probably in Iran. Now, this could just be the residuals of the current unknowns as far as the oil markets are concerned, as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, as far as the general war, that is not a war, is concerned. So it could just be kind of residuals that might not be directly connected. But if we look at the patterns here, specifically with the stock market and this war, if we look at the patterns, this means something big is happening this weekend. And if it's really all tied in, and I'm not sure I think that this is the case. I'm more of I think this means something big is going to happen this weekend, or there's an anticipation that something is going to happen this weekend, so people are selling off. So that's kind of the middle ground here. If it's really a controlled market, if it's really another insider trading job, they're doing a massive sell-off. Something big happens this weekend, and then Trump makes an announcement Sunday night, and then Monday the stock market has some recovery. So that's kind of been the trend here. So if there is an insider operation going on, you're going to see the stock market rebound on Monday. If this is just residuals of all the unknown factors, it could stay where it's at or even dip a little lower. But Trump is going to try to do something, whether there is an event in Iran or the Middle East that affects all of this or not. Trump is going to try to do something either end of day today or end of day Sunday to try to get this market correction back up closer to what they would like it to be, which was the Dow at 50K and your stock portfolio not going the wrong direction. So that remains a consistent factor when it comes to the administration and the war. The stock market is indicative of what's going on behind the scenes. In fact, they found out, and this is kind of different. These are these prediction markets that are a new thing now. They just found out, and I don't think this is only in Israel. I mean, let's be fair. But they did bust some Israelis that were tied into military intelligence for making big bets on the prediction markets with insider military information. So they did make some busts in Israel with that. But it's not just happening in Israel. That's happening all over the world. I guarantee you that's happening in America. But I see the stock market, forget about forget about whether your stocks are in the red or the green today. I see this as an indication that there is a anticipation that something is going to happen this weekend. That's what I see. So this could be This could be like safe selling, or this could be rigged selling to try to bottom it out before they do a pump on Monday. But it's getting to the point now where if the stock market continues to go this direction, that's been one of Trump's biggest claims to success here is the stock market. If it continues to go this direction, won't be able to make that claim. That's kind of a claim that he's needed. And then there's the oil issue. Oil giants raise the alarm over energy shortages as Iran war drags on. Shell CEO Wayne Sawan warns Europe will be next to face an energy supply crunch. Total Energy CEO Patrick Pouyanné says the current oil products market is dislocated. Equest CEO Amjad Sisu also expressed his concern over what comes next for the strategical vital Strait of Hormuz, saying the future is not clear. So you read into that, you say, okay, people are they're just unsure. They're just uncertain. Now, we have some of this as far as what's happening on the ground news today. But the Trump administration is claiming total victory here. Trump officials tout U.S. energy dominance as global oil execs warn of supply crisis. This is the unfortunate truth. And the problem with Trump supporters right now is they're just not interested in the truth. That's just the reality of the situation. And I think Trump has realized that, at least to some extent. So it's like, yeah, Trump is doing blatant propaganda, and you could argue that he's doing that for morale purposes. He's doing that for optical purposes. So you might like that. You might say, well, it's good Trump is doing that, even though he's basically just lying. It's good for morale. We don't want people upset and depressed and worried all the time. So, okay. It's like, the parents are fighting and, oh, mommy and daddy aren't fighting. Oh, mommy and daddy aren't getting a divorce. It's okay. And, in the other room, they're signing the papers. But Trump basically just comes out now and just says complete nonsense as a morale situation. Oh, U.S. energy dominance. Oh, we've won the war. It's just all of the stuff. He just says it, and it's not based in reality at all. And the problem is these Trump supporters, they just believe everything he says. That's their job. They're cheerleaders. They're pom-pom wavers. So, it doesn't matter if the team is down by 50 points. If Trump makes a free throw, they jump off the ground and high leg kick and scream and shout and chant and, it's all good. It doesn't matter the scoreboard. You're cooked. Their job is to be cheerleaders. So they get upset when you're not a willing cheerleader, when you're not a willing stooge like they are. But what does that even mean? U.S. energy dominance. What does that even mean? Gas prices are up. Oh, short-term pain for long-term gain. It's a war. It's not a war. Iran is decimated, but we still need to address the Strait of Hormuz. So none of it makes sense. None of it adds up. And now you've got on-the-ground situations that prove it's not good. Now, this could be isolated. This could be connected, but this is big. Valero facing lawsuits over Port Arthur explosion and fire, including potential class action. Well, regardless of these lawsuits, there was a explosion this week at the Port Arthur refinery. This is one of the biggest refineries in the country. It's one of the biggest refineries. It's not good. It's not good given the current situation in the oil markets. It's not good. It's not a good timing situation. So you could say it's connected. You could say it's isolated. Either way, not good news. You've got gas stations that are running out of gas. This was in Jackson, Mississippi, as gas prices continue to soar as part of the trickle-down effects from the war with Iran. One local gas station ran out of gas. Drivers were surprised Thursday afternoon as they arrived at Murphy Express gas station on the County Line and Ridgewood Roads in Jackson, Mississippi, to find that all the pumps were dry. So I wonder if this is going to become a common situation. This could be isolated, maybe not. We'll find out. This is happening all around the world, though. Australia fuel crunch expands to hundreds of gas stations. They're running out of fuel in Australia. In Thailand, you have a bunch of panic buying going on right now. People are racing to gas stations trying to fill up gas cans, their cars, everything else. It's leading to chaos at gas stations. So this is happening all over the world. And you could say it's legitimate. You could say it's people panicking. It's still happening. And obviously, the longer this war goes on, the worse this situation is going to get. And this is going to affect travel, commerce, energy, consumer price index, producer price index, and farming, agriculture. Australia again. For Australia's farmers, fuel crisis comes at worst possible time. Their troubles could cascade across Asia as well because they export a majority of their products. And so because of this crisis, by the way, Russia, China, and others are becoming extremely conservative as far as what they're doing with energy exports. And they're leveraging now, their energy exports into the geopolitical world right now and all the different negotiations that are happening. This is also crazy. This is supposed to be where Trump was the best. This is supposed to be where Trump was doing a master class. And this is where we're all kind of sitting here scratching our heads and saying, well, wait a second. You know, all of these strategic moves where we're supposed to sit here and say, hey, this is Trump's strongest point, is these strategic measures to help the United States of America. This is where past presidents have failed. Now, everything Trump is doing is doing bad things. It's having a negative effect to our country and to our allies. And this is undeniable. And it's empowered China. And it's empowered Russia. You could even argue it's empowered Iran. And you say, well, we've just killed 10,000 people in Iran. We've been bombing Iran for a month. Well, that's true. But look at the people of Iran that have now united. By the way, that's what happens. Look what happened in America after 9/11. We united as a country. So, yeah, we just blew up a school and killed a bunch of innocent people in Iran. They're uniting. Whether they like the government or not, they're uniting as a country. And now China and Russia are looking at the desperation and they're leveraging it. This is all true. This is all happening. This is not a masterclass in geopolitics from President Trump. This is not a masterclass in geopolitical negotiations from Donald Trump. It's anything but. And so you wonder, is this Trump just, having a bad game? It happens. Is this Trump past his prime? Over-leveraged? Overindulged? Or maybe this is Trump being yanked around by Netanyahu, being yanked around by the Israeli lobby, unable to do what he would normally do in these situations, unable to make his own decisions because it all has to benefit Israel in the long run. Everything has to be done in the direction of pro-Israel. So he can't even actually have a positive outcome for the United States of America because that's not the agenda here. But with the farmers now, they put this message up, by the way. They put this message up on the White House. President Trump saved the American farmer. I'm not even going to bother playing this video, but they put this up today. Oh, Trump, he's the farmer's president and all this stuff. No, actually. No, the farmers are very ticked off at President Trump. People are very ticked off about President Trump as far as the agriculture promises were made. We get glyphosates now. The farmers got screwed by Donald Trump because he cut that deal with Argentina. They haven't done anything to actually address the cattle crisis and everything else that's going on in that industry. So actually the farmers feel betrayed by Trump as well. And then you find out whatever this deal that he made with Argentina was, whatever was really behind that deal, then you find out that the beef that Argentina is exporting is no good. In fact, it's so bad that China is rejecting it. China just rejected 22 tons of meat from Argentina. And they found a bunch of chemicals and stuff in it that is banned in China. So they rejected 22 tons of meat. So that's the meat we're getting from Argentina thanks to Donald Trump. That's what farmers are feeling upset about, getting screwed on that deal by Donald Trump. And now diesel prices are going up. Energy costs are going up. This is creating an entirely new issue in the agriculture industry. But Trump can't even do anything about it because he's so busy with this war in the Middle East. Trump can't even address the domestic issues. Trump can't even address the American voters because he's too busy in the Middle East for Israel's interests. And this is why people are so mad. And this is why even if you want to have the debate about Israel, greatest ally or not, even if you want to have that debate, there is no debate that this has become the top priority. There is no debate that Donald Trump cannot effectively lead the United States of America because he's back involved in the Middle East. And now there's not just negative results happening here. There's not just negative results. The people are turning on him. And they're so out of touch. They're so out of touch with all of it. And there is multiple points of evidence of this, by the way. By the way, an egg farm goes up in fire last night in Iowa. Devastating fire at Northern Iowa egg farm kills several flocks, injures a firefighter. So oil refineries on fire, egg farms on fire. This is just crazy. Now, I'm going to go to Marco Rubio here, talking about the Strait of Hormuz, where we're obviously getting mixed messages. I had a bunch of news. Again, the reason why I don't do on-the-ground stories is because it is so hard to get the truth, guys. It is so hard. I don't know, of all the different things I've covered in my life, I think this is the one that is the hardest to actually get the reality of the situation on the ground. I don't think I've ever seen a story that I'm following. We'll call it the war in Iran. I don't think I've ever seen a story like this where it's nearly impossible to actually figure out what's happening on the ground, to actually figure out what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, because you find a lead and you dig into that, and then it's an empty lead, or you dig into it and then you find out that there's contradictory information coming out as well. So I just scrap it all. I just say, I'm not even going to go to what's happening on the ground unless I can really prove that it's real and accurate. I just don't even go there. So like I could tell you, hey, the Strait of Hormuz is great. I could tell you, hey, the Strait of Hormuz is a disaster. And you'll have people that believe it either way and then try to present their evidence that The Strait of Hormuz is great. The Strait of Hormuz is not great. But let's go to Marco Rubio here. See what he has to say about the Strait of Hormuz today.
We're talking about this. There are some in the Iranian regime that are going around saying that they want to make the Strait of Hormuz tolling thing, they want to make it permanent. That's unacceptable. The whole world should be outraged by it. We're impacted by it a little bit, but the rest of the world is impacted by it a lot more, including many of the countries represented today here at the G7. And so if those countries are deeply impacted by it, all we've said is, you guys need to do something about it. We'll help you. But you guys are going to need to be ready to do something about it. When this conflict and when this operation ends, the Iranians decide, well, now we can control the Strait of Hormuz. You can only go through here if you pay us. And we allow you to. That's not only is it illegal under international law and maritime law, it's unacceptable. And that can't be allowed to exist. And so what we've said is that the countries that are most impacted by that should be willing to do something about it. And we'll help them. And that's what
So that's just pure Israeli talking points. Let's be perfectly clear. Now, as far as what he's actually saying about the Strait of Hormuz, let's try to put this into perspective. And I think the most important thing, because there'll be people that will debate everything else I say here. So, okay, I accept that. Here's something that's not up for debate. Until we started this war, we didn't have these problems in the Strait of Hormuz. So let's just be honest about that. Before this war started, the issues that you're having right now in the Strait of Hormuz, you didn't have these issues. Okay, so this is all a result of this war, and we all know why this war was started. It wasn't for America. It wasn't for the world's interests. It was for one country's interest and one country's interest only. It was for one foreign lobby group in America and their interest only, their demands only. That's it. That is a reality. That is a fact. So that is, to me, undebatable. Now, there's other stuff you might debate. Here's the two other takeaways I have from that. This idea, he's talking about, Iran cannot be allowed to control the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran just gets no rights because, Israel is the king of the world, and they get to decide who gets rights and who doesn't. Israel gets to decide who gets a gun and who doesn't, who gets a nuke and who doesn't, who gets to control the strait and who doesn't. So that's the entitlement of the current Israeli regime, which is why the world is so sick of them. But wait a second, isn't this exactly what happened? Isn't this what we just had a debate about the Panama Canal with and China? Like, aren't we the ones that kind of set that standard with the Panama Canal? Wasn't that our standard that we set, that we are now dealing with again in the Panama Canal? Like, wasn't that the whole point? So this idea of, oh, you can't charge tolls or whatever, it's like, what are you talking about? China does that. America does that. Everybody does that. But Iran's not allowed to because Israel says so. But whatever, have that debate. Now, here's the other thing I think is going on. And if we're trying to figure out the larger picture here, it's like, what is the real end game for Israel? If you can even put it into some sort of a border of this is what they're trying to do. Because really, I think you look at what Israel is doing. I think they're in this crazed, whatever this Netanyahu regime is, Ben Gvir regime, whatever this regime is, they're just in this crazed mindset where their foot is stuck pedal to the metal. There's nothing else that they know. It's just total death, total destruction. They might have ideas or goals or agendas. It doesn't matter. They're just full on pedal to the metal, death and destruction. And this is what God wills for us. But let's try to put a boundary on it. I think you look at the Greater Israel Plan, that's one thing, that's a landmass. I think what Israel is really trying to do here to make their power play and to become maybe the most powerful nation, not just in the Middle East, but in the world. And so, yeah, Israel knows that the current status that they have does not exist without the United States. The reason why Israel has its current world status is because they have essentially bought and paid for the United States government and the United States military to do their bidding to put them in this position. If they didn't do that, Israel would not have this standing. Who knows where they would be? But Israel also realizes that they can't go on with that forever. They know that they're losing support in the United States of America rapidly. And so they're trying to find a way, after everything they've leveraged from the United States, after everything they've siphoned from the United States to get their status in the world, and that's what it is, they need to find a way to maintain that status independently. So what I think Israel is trying to do is they're trying to find a way to hem energy and trade through whatever landmass that they're going to end up with. I think Israel wants to build a new canal that will become the most important canal in the Middle East, maybe even the world, and they want to run it. And bet your bottom dollar, as Marco Rubio comes out here and says, Iran can't be charging people to use the Strait of Hormuz. That's exactly what Israel will do when they build this canal after they get the landmass that they're looking for. I believe Israel also wants to take control of the flow of energy through the Middle East through new pipeline builds. But all of this relies on them getting the landmass necessary to do it. So that's why they're going in and taking all the Palestinian land. That's why they're going in and taking southern Lebanon. And eventually they'll go west, they'll go south. It'll all happen. And it's all to secure the right landmass to gain control over shipping and energy. And then once they do that, however long it takes, then they can be the global hegemony, and then they can stand on their own, and they won't need the United States of America to basically prop up their entire existence, to subsidize their entire lifestyle. So that's what I think Israel is trying to do strategically right now. But really, when you look at the psychology of it, there's no stopping. The psychology of a Netanyahu, of a Ben Gvir, and all their acolytes is that it'll never be enough for them. And once you've kind of fully bought into that trauma-based mind control, once you've bought into that everyone is out to get me psychology, the conclusion you reach is inevitable, which is everyone has to die but me. I'm in a fight for survival, and whether they believe it's all ordained by God or not, I don't know. That's how they present it. The real psychology here, once you've bought into it, eventually you just look at it as everyone has to die except me. It's the only way I can survive. And that's the current mindset right now. That's the current mindset. So even if they're able to accomplish the greater Israel, even if they're able to get control of a new canal and the flow of energy, they won't stop there. They will never stop there. That'll just be them positioning themselves into the global superpower so that they can get away with anything they want independently of support of the United States or not. And who knows where the United States ends up in this entire transaction. We're $40 trillion in debt. We've depleted our manufacturing, our production, our military. So we're being totally depleted. Everything, all of our substance is being siphoned off militarily and financially into Israel, production, manufacturing into Asia, and we're going to end up being this hollow shell of a once great nation because our Congress sold us out. So that's why this war with Iran is so pivotal to the future of America, and that's why so many people now see it as such a threat to America. Because if this thing doesn't go the way we want, and even if it does, quite frankly, even if this thing does go the way that we want, it doesn't help us. It's just a new operation in America subsidizing the interests in developing Israel into a global superpower and sacrificing America's status as the global superpower so Israel can become that global superpower without us anymore, and then we're left with a husk of a once great nation. Now, I don't think we're getting the full picture as far as the international community is concerned. I think there's a lot of people doing lip service to Trump. I think there's a lot of people doing lip service to the media. But I think that most of these countries are sick of Israel. And whatever deals are getting done right now behind the scenes, it's all survival at this point. It's all survival. And the only country that is not acting in its own interests to survive, unfortunately, is us, the United States. And that's why they tell you the big lie. And this is truly the big lie. That's why they tell you the big lie that, oh, we're in the Middle East for our survival. We're in the Middle East for our interests. A total lie. The Middle East is destroying our chances of survival. The Middle East is destroying the strength of our country. It is anything but our best interest to be in the Middle East. It is the exact opposite. So that's why they tell you this big lie. No, us being involved in the Middle East again is not in our interests and will not be a good survival mechanism for our country. It's the exact opposite. Us being involved in the Middle East again is hollowing out our country, hurting our country, and is doing permanent damage to our country yet again. Yet again. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is seeing this for what it really is, and they're saying, okay, what do we need to do for survival? Like, how can we get out of this, however this whole war shakes out? How can we get out of this for survival? Now, take a guess. Do you think the Gulf nation states, do you think they look at Israel as a real ally? Do you think they look at the United States of America as a real ally? Or do you think they don't trust anybody and they're just trying to wait and see how this whole thing figures itself out? And then do they even believe that Iran is the one striking them? Because that's the big claim, is that Iran is striking all the Gulf nation states. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. I don't trust anything. It doesn't seem to make sense why Iran would be doing that. So you try to make sense of why would Iran be striking all these Gulf nation states unless it's like a wake-up call for them. It's like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Or it's just all false flags to try to drive them into the war, which hasn't exactly worked either. So I think all of these other countries are just kind of standing and saying, what do we need to do to survive this deal? Meanwhile, America is just, we've got like an IV attached to our jugular feeding right into Israel, making sure that they survive, and we're turning into a dried up husk. And people are sick of it, by the way. People are sick of it. And I'm going to show you the proof that people are sick of it on the other side of this break. So we got a couple of Never Doubt Me folks coming up here on the other side of our first break today, where we nailed it again. Everyone else got it wrong, and they're going to continue to get it wrong, by the way, because they're not learning anything. So we'll see some stuff from CPAC. We'll see some stuff out of the administration. But if you want to get an idea of where MAGA is really at or where Trump popularity is really at, we'll give you a pretty good idea on the other side of this break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Guys, have you thought about precious metals? Have you thought about maybe what you want to do? You got money in the bank, a 401k, and you're just not sure. You're not sure if that's where you want to keep it, or maybe it's time to get involved in the precious metals. So many people are doing it. It's in the news almost every day. That's why I've partnered with Allegiance Gold. Now, here is the best part about our friends at Allegiance Gold. If you're thinking about this stuff, you're not really sure, you're thinking about a move, you got questions, hesitations, whatever, you know what? They got a phone number for you to call, and you just call them. Ask any questions, any concerns. It's a free call. Give them a call, 844-790-9191. And they love talking about what's going on in the precious metals industry. It's what they do, after all. 844-790-9191. Any questions, any concerns, they're going to make sure you feel comfortable and have a good grasp on what's going on with precious metals right now and why it might make sense for you to make the move. Or go to protectwithowen.com. While you've got them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 free dollars in gold and silver. You heard that right. $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They can make it simple to get involved in precious metals. Especially now, you might look at gold and silver and think that might be a safer place to store money than the U.S. dollar or a bank. A lot of people feel that way. That's why they're making the move. So you can ask them when you give them the call, hey, what's going on with that $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments? They can answer that for you as well. We've also partnered with Allegiance Gold because they have nearly 10,000 clients nationwide and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. You heard that right. A-plus with the Better Business Bureau. That's huge when you talk about the precious metals community. That's big. That's as good as it gets, literally. So go to protectwithowen.com or give them a call, 844-790-9191. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys, hour number 2 here of the Owen Report. There's so much coming out of CPAC, as there always is. And I'm wondering, one of the narratives that's developing now is how there's a low attendance and low interest this year. I'm not willing to go into that narrative quite yet. Although it's looking more and more to be true. It isn't the weekend yet. Usually the Saturday is when it really starts to hit. But Trump passed. A lot of people passed. I passed. So I don't know. Maybe there is something to it. And I don't know if that's part of the larger story of MAGA being dead. Maybe it's a larger story of people just struggling financially. They just can't afford to go. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe people are just sick of politics. Maybe it's all three. So there's definitely some evidence of low turnout and low interest. We're not going to go too much into that narrative here. Now, the divide is being felt for sure. The divide is being felt for sure. And, it's a good thing that CPAC does this, where you can kind of hear both sides of the story as far as, here's your radical Israel first presentation. And then here's your Steve Bannon, let's say, really leaning into that debate and talking about what's best for America's interests. So, again, whether you like Steve or Tucker or anybody else or Josh Hammer, who's not very popular, this is just kind of what we're seeing. But it does look to be a low turnout, low interest event so far. Now, here's what was interesting. What was it, guys? Well, I can find out when the clip was posted on the Owen Schroyer Clips account. I don't know when the actual clip was from. I think it might have been from Monday. But you guys probably remember the segment where I talked about you will have people that actually want to see Trump get impeached on both the left and the right. The appetite for the Trump impeachment will be shared mutually between the left and the right if things continue in this direction. And so that clip got posted all over X, went massively viral, and of course people were attacking me for it. I just tell the truth. That's all I do. I do political play-by-play. I call it as I see it. I understand if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys and I'm calling the Dallas Cowboys game and the Cowboys throw an interception, a pick six, and lose the game, I understand that's upsetting to you, but that's still what happened. So you have to say it. If Dak Prescott throws an interception, I can't say Dak Prescott threw a touchdown because that's not what's happening. So Dak Prescott threw an interception. So when I came out and said, hey, There will be an appetite for impeaching Trump on both the left and the right, and I was attacked for it. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling you the plays on the field. So now it gets brought up. This was Matt Schlapp today. It gets brought up directly to the audience at CPAC about impeachment. So there's kind of this drive right now from Conservative Inc. You definitely see it at different times during CPAC so far. There's this drive of, and I get it, you can decide for yourself, but this is where the Republicans are at. So there's this drive with Con Inc. and the GOP at CPAC that's saying, hey, you still need to go out and vote for Republicans. We still can't let Democrats take over. So that's basically where they're at, which is very telling in and of itself, quite frankly. And that's the problem. They cannot run on the economy. They cannot run on peace. They can't run on policy. The Republicans cannot run on policy. They just can't do it. It's not there. The success is not there. So now they have to run on, we're not the Democrats. That's all they have now. Everything else has failed. All the promises have been broken, except maybe the border. That's it. So this is now where the Republicans are at coming up in the midterms. Just vote for us because we're not Democrats. And don't you know? So it's like, okay, what are the different pressure points to sell this? The frustration, the outrage is that this is what we did. We just fought tooth and nail to deliver the House, deliver the Senate, deliver the White House to the Republicans so they could get stuff done and get victories on policy and then win multiple election cycles. And they have failed again. So they can't run on policy, so they're running on we're not the Democrats. So they think, well, where are the different pressure points? What are the different sales techniques so that we can get people to go out and vote for Republicans even though they don't deliver? And then there's the whole struggle session of what's the better thing strategically for a conservative? Is it to just continue to vote Republicans that do nothing for you, or is it to withhold your vote for the Republicans until they actually do something for you? I get, it's a fair question. What would the analogy be? Would it be like, I don't want to be too, a graphic. That's not the intent here. But would it be like a wife telling you, like, hey, you're not getting any until you, clean the gutters or take out the trash or something? It's like, hey, here's your wife, and it's Friday night. You just had a glass of wine or something, and you're getting a little touchy-feely. And your wife says, well, you promised you would take out the trash. You didn't. You promised you would clean the gutters. You didn't. You promised you would fix the ceiling fan, whatever. You didn't. So, you know what? I'm sorry. No, I'm going to have to, I'm shutting this down. Shutting this down. No fun for you tonight. I don't know if that's a fair analogy, because then you'll have people that say, well, it's the wife's duty to take care of that. So I'm not trying to have that debate, but that's what this is like. The Republicans promised to clean the gutters. The Republicans promised to take out the trash. The Republicans promised to fix the front door, and they didn't do any of it. And now they're coming to us, and they're looking for a little action from us. They're saying, hey, come on, give us a little something here. And we're saying, no, you're not getting anything. You didn't do what you said you would do. The only thing we can do in response is to withhold our vote. That's it. So you're not going to get it. You didn't deliver for us. We're not going to vote for you. Why would you? So you can decide. There's two trains of thought. Hey, just vote Republicans no matter what. They're not Democrats, versus, Democrats would be worse, versus, hey, the Republicans don't do anything for us. Why would we continue to deliver for them when they don't deliver for us? I think it's a fair debate. I think it's a good debate. I kind of look more at the instinctual level of this, not as much like getting into the analytics of an actual debate. The instinctual level for me is I have no desire to vote for Republicans right now. I have no instinctual desire to go out and vote for Republicans. The only thing that would get me to go out and vote for Republicans right now is Ken Paxton. That's it. Ken Paxton running for the Senate in Texas, which will be a very important race. By the way, the latest polls actually now have the Democrats favored to win the Senate, too. Yeah, that's not fun. And Texas could be the swing state. So the only instinctual motivation I have, the only desire I have to go out and vote right now is to vote for Ken Paxton. Now, Trump is playing games with this Senate race because he's trying to leverage it to get votes from John Cornyn. John Cornyn is trying to leverage his vote in the Senate to get a Trump endorsement. So there's all kinds of politicking going on behind the scenes. And Paxton waded into that for a second and said, look, and I think it's an honorable move from Paxton, quite frankly. He said, all right, look, if John Cornyn and Donald Trump are going to cut a deal and Cornyn is going to withhold his vote in the Senate for the SAVE Act or anything else, and Trump is going to withhold his endorsement until he gets or doesn't get that vote, Paxton comes in and says, hey, guys, there's nothing I can do. I'm not in Congress. So there's nothing I can do about your negotiations. But I will say this, and Paxton said, if Trump and Cornyn reach this deal and Trump secures Cornyn's votes and Cornyn gets Trump's endorsement, Paxton said he would drop out if Cornyn actually gets the SAVE Act passed and actually votes for this legislation. I think that was an honorable move from Paxton. And that's really all he could do was just show he's an honorable man. So the gamesmanship between Trump and Cornyn is going on. Apparently it's not going so well now. So Trump is reconsidering, and I guess he said within the next couple of weeks he's going to decide who he's going to endorse. It won't make a difference to me. I'm Paxton, and I don't think Trump's endorsement matters, actually. Trump's endorsement might be a negative factor, to be quite honest with you. I think Paxton is going to win. I think all of the votes, the reason why Cornyn got more votes than Paxton was because the other candidate is also kind of anti-establishment. And so the people that voted for him, I can't think of his name right now. It's slipping my mind. The people that voted for him are going to end up voting for Paxton, and that will put him over the top. I'm getting a little long-winded here. My point is, the debate that's happening, it's made its way into CPAC. Should you vote for Republicans even when they don't deliver simply because they're not Democrats? Or should you withhold your vote for Republicans because they don't deliver until we can actually get some necessary reform here and get Republicans to do meaningful things to save our country? Okay? So that's the debate. That's the debate that people are having. And I'm just saying, I have no desire, I have no instinctual draw to vote for Republicans at all right now. I'm more pissed off at the Republicans than I am scared of the Democrats. And the only thing that would motivate me to vote right now is Ken Paxton. That's it. That is it, is to get Ken Paxton in the Senate. Okay, so now that I've kind of gotten through that, I said earlier this week, and I was attacked relentlessly for it, that there will be an appetite to impeach Trump. So as they're leaning into this argument, hey, you got to vote Republicans in the midterms because Democrats are bad, and here's what they're going to do, which, by the way, isn't that, like, this is the big moment right here. This is the big moment. This is the Republicans, this is Conservative Inc. admitting that Trump has failed. This is them admitting that the GOP has failed. They have given up trying to run on policy. They have given up trying to run on success. And all they can run on is they're not Democrats. That is it. So this is them waving the white flag. This is them admitting that they have not delivered. And in a way, admitting that, yeah, MAGA is dead. There is no MAGA coalition. There is no 100% support for Trump. All of that is a lie. So please, we're begging you, save the midterms. Just don't go out and vote for Democrats, vote for Republicans. So it's admitting all of that without actually saying it. So they bring up the impeachment issue. Because we don't want to see Trump get impeached, right? We have to vote for Republicans because we don't want to see Trump get impeached. So they bring this up at CPAC, main stage with Matt Schlapp. Let's see how it goes.
How many?
They cheered for impeachments. They cheered for impeachments. You guys are saying no audio. I have no idea why there would be no audio. I'll try to play it again. Let me see if I can play it again. Can you guys really not hear that? Yeah, I'm having major tech issues today, guys. First of all, my internet is out. Luckily, I have two internets at my house, so I'm on my secondary internet. My internet is out. My computer keeps glitching. I'm going to have to reset the entire system after today's show. This is weird. Why is there no audio? Let me try something else. Let's try something else. If this doesn't work, I'll just abandon ship.
How many?
So I have no idea what's going on. It makes no sense that there's no audio there. Makes absolutely no sense. So I'm just gonna move on and not get frustrated. You know, we've had this happen before. There's no rhyme or reason. I guess there's one other thing I could try here. There's one other thing I could try here. I almost don't even want to try it, but let me try one other thing. No, I'm not going to shut it down. I'm not going to crash out. Let's try this.
How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. That was the wrong answer.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. The music is working. All the other audio is working except that. So who knows? Who really knows? So now it works. I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. I just need to reset the system. I love guys. Believe me, I see the frustration, guys. I get it. What do you want me to do? You want me to do a fundraiser for $50,000 so I can bring in a tech team and build a $50,000 studio? Like, I mean, that would be the one other thing I could do. Because it makes no sense why it works now. That makes absolutely no sense at all. Why now it works. I have no idea what that is about. So I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to move on. So anyway, what did I tell you? What did I tell you Monday? I said there would be an appetite for impeaching Trump. I said it. I was relentlessly attacked. The video went viral. Everybody attacking me, F-bombing me, calling me all these names. Bing, there it is. I was proven right again. That is at CPAC. That is at CPAC, and they're cheering for impeachments, folks. Oh, Trump has 100% support for MAGA. Oh, MAGA isn't dead. Oh, the coalition isn't broken. You guys don't live in reality. You don't live in reality. You're not even trying to live in reality. I told you Monday there would be an appetite for impeaching Donald Trump on the right. I have been proven right again. And so all the haters, all the people that attack me, all the Trump cultists, all the MAGA cheerleaders, like, when are you going to admit that you're just wrong about everything? When are you going to admit? Because to me, this isn't about you or me. This is about saving the country. This is about the United States of America having a future of peace and prosperity and freedom. That's what this is about. And it's like the new MAGA cult, they think it's all about like infighting, and they think it's all about like popularity contests and picking people in the media that they can attack and destroy. It's like, what are you doing? There you go. That is a CPAC event. That's not me. I'm not there leading the charge. I'm not there on the stage. That is a right-wing conservative crowd cheering for Trump to be impeached. Just like I said would happen on Monday. And you attacked me for it. Hey, you can attack me all you want, but you can't say I'm wrong. Can't say I'm wrong. And this is how out of touch the administration is. This administration is so out of touch, you wonder how it's even possible. This is Alex Bruszewitz, who I thought would be more in touch than the rest. Quite frankly, he's a Trump advisor. I thought Alex would be more in touch with the ground level than the rest of the administration. It turns out, no. He says this, the Dave Smith-Rogan interview went pretty viral, pretty popular. He's responding to a clip here. He says, Trump's coalition isn't shattered, and Thomas Massie will never be president. He says, oh, I'm not sure what reality this guy is living in, but Massie likely won't even be able to hold on to his congressional seat in the next election. So, obviously, that's still months away. So I can't sit here and say for sure Massie is going to win. I would bet on Massie winning. And if he wanted to run for president, he would probably do pretty well, I would say. But that's just, we'll have to see in the future. To say Trump's coalition isn't shattered is to not live in reality. That is just to reject reality and to just not even be interested in reality at all. That is just pure propaganda, pure brainwashing, pure delusion land to say that Trump's coalition isn't shattered. It is beyond shattered. It is completely obliterated. It's done. It's over. And Trump did that, by the way. Now, we'll see what happens with Massie, but this is the same talking point. And they're all saying Massie's going to lose. Massie could never be president. It's almost like a message went out. Wink, wink, nod, nod. A message went out to attack Thomas Massie again. And then Trump doesn't even get good information. I'll save this for the Trump clips coming up. Trump goes on air yesterday and says, Thomas Massie doesn't vote with me. Thomas Massie does vote with you. I'll save that for later. So they don't even live in reality. They're not even telling Trump the truth. Maybe they know it, maybe they don't. Like, who's telling President Trump that Thomas Massie isn't voting with Republicans on these bills? He is. He actually, he co-sponsored one of the bills. And Trump comes out and says he didn't vote for the bill. He co-sponsored the bill. Who is telling Trump this? The Trump coalition isn't shattered. They just cheered for impeaching Donald Trump at CPAC. Do you want to check again? How is this administration so out of touch with reality? I don't think you can claim ignorance anymore. I don't think you can really claim, we're trying to do morale boosting here. No, you guys are just blatantly, intentionally out of touch with reality. Now, we got some things from both sides. Let's go to a couple clips here from CPAC. So this is a young guy asked about the war.
I think they're going to get destroyed in the midterms. I get the vibe. A lot of people I knew who just voted for Trump because they thought it was cool in like high school, or just now just being like, I can't stand the guy. I think they're going to get.
Yeah, that's how a lot of young Americans feel. That's basically men under the age of 40. They can't stand the guy. And it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Anybody that has any social life at all knows how obvious that is. Now you go to a boomer and listen to how out of touch the boomer is.
He is the president of peace. So this is to bring peace in the area.
Notice the young guy here laughing. He's the president of peace. What world do you live in? We're literally at war. You could argue he started multiple wars. He's the president of peace. There's war breaking out all over the planet, lady. I'm sorry. These people don't live in reality. He's the president of peace. Yes, and Joe Biden is a Iron Man. Joe Biden is going to be competing in the triathlon this weekend, and President Trump is the president of peace. That's how ridiculous you sound. That is how outrageously out of touch with reality you are to say Trump is the president of peace. Listen to this outrageous claim here and watch the young guy behind laughing at how dumb these people sound.
He is the president of peace. So this is to bring peace in the area. When this gets taken care of, it's going to be peace. And I believe, I'm on True Social. That's the only social media I do.
Oh, well, I guess that explains a lot.
And I believe that he's going to have, bring peace, and it's going to be very short. And he's got a plan. He's a genius. And we trust President Trump. All of us trust President Trump. He is the president.
I shouldn't be laughing. It's painfully ignorant. It's painfully propagandized, but there it is. So you go to the young guy, he's like, yeah, the coalition is broken. People are sick of Trump. That's the reality. You go to the boomer, all I do is follow Truth Social, and Trump's the peace president, and this is all great. Like, you just, okay, great. Really good. Oh, he's such a genius. It's unreal. It's unreal. But let's check in. Let's check in on the Trump coalition. Okay, so I already got my Never Doubt Me folks. I already got my Never Doubt Me folks once. But I got another one now. First I said, okay, watch Bongino. If Bongino leaves, it's going to start a trend. Then Joe Kent, and then I said, okay, this is going to be opening up the floodgates. And now look at what we have. Let's see what we have now. David Sachs leaves White House AI and crypto czar role. David Sachs out. I'm done. Robert Malone exits CDC vaccine advisory role. Robert Malone out. Jonathan Gross, I officially resigned from the DOJ to return to fighting for God, the American people, and the Constitution. Shared this, the Jonathan Gross law firm. Jonathan Gross, big January 6th defendant, big American patriot, big America firster. He's out. And he was relentlessly pursuing justice for January 6ers and trying to get the administration to work on some justice for the January Sixers, and they just wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. So there you go. That's now 3 in a week. 3 of the good guys, by the way. 3 of the good guys. David Sachs, out. Robert Malone, out. Jonathan Gross, out. This is the trend. This thing's a disaster, folks. This thing's a disaster. Now, do you want to see perhaps the most ironic part of this? Do you want to see the ultimate irony? And we've all kind of felt this. We've talked about this. Kremlin issues chilling nuclear war warning and blames Trump's gross error. Well, let's just simplify this. Russia is warning of a possible nuclear conflict, and Russia's not the only one. So now there's these talks, now there's these considerations that this war could turn nuclear. Now, do I have to explain why this is so ironic? Do I have to tell you why this is so ironic? So apparently the whole purpose of this war is to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon because, God forbid, they might use it. That was the whole claim. Of course, that was all a lie, but that's their claim. We have to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon because, God forbid, they might use it. And now the big talk in the international community as this war rages on is, hey, this thing could go nuclear. Let's start to think about what we're doing here. So wait a second. So Iran doesn't have a nuke. The entire purpose of this war is to stop a nuclear conflict that they said would be started by Iran. But now we're talking about this turning into a nuclear conflict, but Iran doesn't have any nukes. So who does? Boy, that's weird. We started this war to stop a nuclear conflict that they say Iran would have started, and yet here we are, this war could turn into a nuclear conflict even though Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Isn't that ironic? Folks, this is the moment, okay? This is the moment. This is the moment the truth comes out. This is the moment where everybody should sit there and say, wow, we have been lied to again. That's it. I don't care how you feel about Israel. I don't care how you feel about Iran. I don't care how you feel about Trump. I don't care how you feel about this war. Stop. And accept that you have been lied to. And then you can go from there. And then if you want to make decisions after that, okay. This is the moment, folks. This is the big reveal. As if it wasn't obvious enough already. But this is like maybe where the normies can start to catch up. This is like maybe where the people that don't really follow the bouncing ball on these developments every day, this is where it's like maybe they can catch up. Folks, they're talking about this war going nuclear. Iran doesn't have nukes. Who are they talking about? They told you the entire purpose for this war was to stop a nuclear conflict. And yet this war could become a nuclear conflict. Do you get it? You were lied to again. Your government lied to you again. 13 soldiers are dead because of this lie. The United States of America has spent at least $30 billion because of this war, and it was a lie. You should be outraged. Trump should be impeached. We shouldn't vote for any person that supports this war. And anyone in the media promoting this war, we should turn them off. This is the big moment. It was all a lie. This is the big moment. We started this war to avoid a nuclear conflict that Iran was going to start, but now this war is going to turn into a nuclear conflict, even though Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Do you get it? The whole thing was based on a lie, and it was never in the interest of any country on earth except one. And that's it. Period. End of story, end of sentence. And I guess maybe I'll just go with the old 3 in a row here. I told you I wouldn't be surprised if they're considering a nuke, folks. I told you. I told you. Once you understand the psychology of this, once you understand what we're actually dealing with here, it was obvious the entire time. It was obvious from day one. And this is the big reveal. This is the big moment. Oh, they are considering using a nuclear weapon or whatever it is, a big bomb, a mass casualty event. They're considering it. And it's not Iran. And Iran never had a nuke. And they were never 2 weeks away from a nuke. It's all a lie. You were lied to about the entire thing, and now Americans are dead. Now you're feeling the cost of the war. Now we're spending tens of billions of dollars, all based off of a lie. We should be outraged. We should be outraged at this administration. We should be outraged at the media pushing it. This is the big reveal. This is the big moment. They lied to you from day one. A bunch of dirty, rotten, crooked, criminal liars. And it's this administration. And it's our so-called greatest allies in the Middle East. And it was all a lie. And this is the big reveal. Oh, we're trying to negotiate peace. And we've got a Pakistani ambassador now that is going to be helping in these negotiations. So Israel tried to kill him, of course. Israel strikes near Pakistani's ambassador's residence and embassy itself in Tehran. So this is going to be the new negotiator here from Pakistan, and Israel's trying to kill him. Israel is trying to kill Pakistani Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar because he is currently conducting talks to try to reach a deal between Iran and the United States. And so Israel tried to kill him. Do I even need to explain? How much of this do we have to go through? How much of this do we have to see and hear and report on until people get it? That's the other big lie. Israel is a stabilizing force. Israel is a force for peace in the Middle East. It's the biggest lie ever. Israel is a destabilizing force. Israel is a warmongering country, probably number one in the world. Israel's the one with nukes. Israel's the one that might use the nuke. Israel's the one that's stopping the peace negotiations. Israel's the one that's killing people every damn day, relentlessly, unapologetically. These are the facts. And I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of living in a world led by lies. I'm so sick of a foreign policy dictated and forced upon us based off of lies. And that was supposed to be the big change with Trump, and it's worse than ever. So here we go to Trump. This guy's such a joke, man. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe what a joke Donald Trump has turned out to be in this administration. So this is from his hour-long interview yesterday. He's doing 5 hours of TV a day now. It's just Trump TV now. It's just the Trump show now, which, by the way, I'm starting to wonder if it's all just a distraction. I'm starting to wonder if the Orange Toad TV show is just a distraction. So we're all over here looking at the Orange Toad hopping around, acting like a crazed person, and it's all just a distraction. It's a distraction from the truth with the war, a distraction from the truth with what's going on with the U.S. dollar, a distraction from the truth with whatever the hell's going on in our skies. It's like a distraction from AI. Is Trump just a distraction at this point? Is that all? Is Trump just serving the role as a shiny object so that we don't know like what's actually happening, and we're just sitting here watching Trump just go completely crazy every day? So listen to this. It's just outrageous here. So here he is on the 5 talking about Jessica Tarlov, and see if you can catch the irony here.
I think I watch Jessica, and I'm not a fan. And she uses fake numbers. She'll give, well, he's only polling 42%. That's not right. Polling very high, actually. Polls are just like, I hate people that use fake polls, because polls are just like bad journalists. Bad journalists, they write fake stories. Well, fake polls do damage also. But that's the thing. I'm sure I'd like her. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Yeah, she's a lovely person. She really misses the fact that she's not here. I get it. We're working.
Trump doesn't like people that use fake polls. As he tells you, he has a poll that shows he's getting 100% support. I'm sorry, guys. This guy is just such a clown now. It's really sad. he's in a way, look, you really can't even compare Biden and Trump, because it's like two totally different, it's just totally different. But in many ways, Trump is worse than Biden. I mean, there's just no denying it now. Trump is worse than Biden. I don't like fake polls. Trump, you are claiming that you're polling 100%. All you do is fake. Everything you do is fake. And that was a Fox News poll that said you were at a 42% approval rating. That was a Fox poll. That's probably a high number. I'm honestly, is Trump does he even live in reality? It's really the question now to ask is, does Trump even live in reality? Is Trump lying? Or is he just a fool himself? That's the real question here. Is Trump just a absolute total liar now, or does he actually believe this garbage? Does Trump really believe he has a 100% approval rating within MAGA, which is a dead coalition? Is Trump really going to go on air and say, I don't like fake polls, 42%, I'm way higher than that. I'm more like 100%, but I don't like fake polls. Dude, you are the fake poll. You are the fake. Everything about you has turned out to be totally fake. It's crazy. So now he's bashing Massey. I'm gonna save time and just not even play the clip. He bashes Thomas Massey and says, "Oh, Thomas Massey doesn't vote with me. He is a disaster." And he's just 100% wrong. And Thomas Massey shares his votes. Trump says he didn't vote on the SAVE Act. He didn't vote on the DHS appropriation. Yes, he did. Massey voted yes on both of those things. And Trump goes on Fox News and says, Massey didn't vote for these bills, and he literally did. Now, this is Trump engaging in outright propaganda. Now this is Trump engaging in outright propaganda to try to get Massey out of Congress, because that's what AIPAC and Marian Adelson want. So now Trump is just working for Israel flat out and going on Fox and just lying to all the Fox News audience. So you take your pick. Did Trump go on Fox News and blatantly lie? Or did Trump go on Fox News and make an ignorant statement? Which one is it? Which one is worse? Those are your two options. And perhaps most ridiculous of them all, Trump goes on Fox News to try to do a pickup line on Dana Perino.
I think it is alarming that we have not been able to see or hear from any of the Iranian people. And I imagine that is because their internet is shut down. And I think there is some general worry about them. Obviously, their government treats them terribly and killed tens of thousands of them in January. Do you, again, like Kayleigh, I would never ask you to tell us something that is classified, but do you have any insight as to how they are doing? Do they have drinking water? Do they have food?
Right, I do.
It's upsetting.
I do. But first, you remember when we had lunch years ago in the base of Trump Tower when it was a brand new
It was
building?
a long time ago, yes.
A long time ago, and you haven't changed. You have not changed. Now, I'm not allowed to say this. It's the end of my political career, but you may be even better looking, okay? So I don't know what you're doing. But I will not say
makeup
that.
has a lot
I will
to do
not
with
say
that.
that because that will end my political career. You know, you're not.
What are we doing, man? You don't think it hurts me to say this stuff, folks, after everything I went through supporting Trump for 10 years? This guy is a clown. This guy is an embarrassment. This guy is a joke. He's a liar. And to Dana Perino's credit, she's like, yeah, I look good because of Fox News hair and makeup. She's right about that. Not that Dana Perino's not a good-looking woman, but if you saw her without makeup, you wouldn't even recognize her. As well as all the other women on there, mostly. So good for Dana saying that. What are we doing, man? Trump tries to do a pickup line on Dana Perino live on the air. Is this guy out of his mind? What is going on? Is this happening behind the scenes, by the way? Like, I'm sorry. If you're willing to do that on national TV, what are you doing behind the scenes with Caroline Leavitt? What are you doing behind the scenes with Alina Habba, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem? Oh, is that inappropriate to ask? Because I just saw you try to hit on Dana Perino on live TV. She's married, by the way. Remember? Oh, and what happened at the base of Trump Tower? Remember the base of Trump Tower, Dana? Boy, we had fun. And then we went to the basement and had some more fun, didn't we, Dana? Yeah, that was nice. I might have been married at the time. I don't even remember. Not that it matters. I don't know when Trump Tower opened. Obviously, Dana Perino was Bush's press secretary. So I don't know if that had anything to do with Bush. But it's just like, this guy's a clown, man. Donald Trump is a damn clown. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for our country. I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's not even that I'm embarrassed for myself because I'm not letting him pull this on us again. If you want to argue, well, you should have known this after the first administration. Okay, well, I wasn't going to stop him from being reelected, but I'm not going to let him do this from the second administration. But this is just a joke, man. I mean, Trump is a joke. This is indefensible. His lies, I mean, this is ridiculous. Can you imagine if Joe Biden did that? Can you imagine if Joe Biden shared a poll that said he had a 100% approval rating? We'd all laugh. Can you imagine if Joe Biden went on CNN and told Dana Bash how hot she was? We would all laugh. We'd be like, this guy is a clown. This is an unserious person. Get him out of office. So we should apply the same logic to Trump. He's an embarrassment. This is a national embarrassment. Donald Trump has turned into a clown. And it's like he doesn't even take it seriously anymore. Does Trump even care anymore? It feels like Trump doesn't even care anymore. He's just living in the moment. It's just all Trump TV now. It's all Trump all the time now. Everything Trump. It's all about him. It's all about me. Truth doesn't matter. People dying doesn't matter. Economy collapsing doesn't matter. Agriculture industry pissed doesn't matter. Half of his voters pissed doesn't matter. I'm going to go on Fox News and hit on Dana Perino. Maybe I can smash that one more time. And then I guess this is really, this is where it's a little more transparent, I suppose. He's talking about the war in Iran. Listen to what he says here.
It stopped really when we did the B-2, but even before that, the Barack Hussein Obama, what he did where he gave them the Iran nuclear deal, gave them free will toward a nuclear weapon. Basically, he chose Iran over Israel and others that didn't want him to do it. He chose Iran over Israel. He chose Iran over Israel. He chose Iran over Israel.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, Mr. President, when are you going to choose America over Israel? I'm just curious, because that's what we really want. I'm just curious, President Clown, President Trump, when are you going to choose America over Israel? Can we get anybody in there that will choose America over Israel? That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're begging for. That's what we're desperate for. That's what we need. But it's not him. It's not going to be him. And so there it is. There it is. That's what it's all about. It's all about Israel or not Israel. That's the attitude in D.C. That's the attitude in the White House. That's the attitude in the Republican Party. It's not about America. It's about Israel. You need to choose Israel over everybody else. And the last time I checked, Israel is not in America. So what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing, guys? And more boomer slop for you. It's like these people, I can't even, I don't know what we do with these people, honestly. Buzz Patterson. So I guess these are like UN trucks or something driving through Gaza, driving through the complete and utter destruction of Gaza. I mean, literally the whole place has been annihilated. It looks like Terminator. And he says, Iran did this to Gaza. What? You're a clown. You're a joke. You're a moron. You're brainwashed. What am I supposed to say? Iran did this? Israel literally did that. Iran dropped 30,000 bombs on Gaza. Iran killed 100,000 Palestinians. Iran did a military-style demolition of an entire civilization. Iran did that? You don't live in reality. You're not interested in reality. You're so far from reality, I don't even know if we can find you again. I don't even know if it's possible. You're so gone from the real world, I don't even know if it's possible to bring you back. To claim that Iran destroyed Gaza, I don't know, folks. It's unreal, because I guess the only way you could possibly try to put this into some form of an understanding of where we're at for people on the right. You are now dealing with a right wing. You are now dealing with Republican politics that are just as bad as what you dealt with from the liberal Democrats for the last 4 years under Biden. That's how bad this is. Now, obviously, it's a different direction. Obviously, it's a different flavor. It's a different taste. It's a different presentation. But as far as the brainwashing, as far as the outright lying, as far as the propagandizing, as far as the shocking, like disbelief that people would even say stuff like that, that's where we're at. That's how ridiculous this is. I mean, really, the parallel, I think, is the LGBTQ stuff. To say that Iran did that to Gaza is to say that a man can have a baby. That's what that is. So it's like you hear a liberal say a man can get pregnant, you're like, what the hell? Obviously, that's not true. You see a man say Iran did this to Gaza, you say, what the hell? Obviously, this isn't true. That's where you're at. Just objectively false things that people say and believe. Objectively false. And you know what? Before we take this final break, yeah, I want to see if there was, let me look for something real quick. I guess it didn't make my final aggregation here. It's a clip of Adam Sosnick. I've got it here. Let me play this clip and explain something. Let me play this clip. Let me explain something and kind of tie it into what I just explained with these people on the right that are now just as brainwashed as the people on the left. Oh, a man can get pregnant. No, he can't. Iran did this to Gaza. No, they didn't. You don't live in reality. The reason why I do a lot of the parallels to the LGBTQ stuff on the left is because it's similar. It's similar analytically. It's similar logistically. So there's a bunch of stuff like this. Let me play this clip and try to wrap this up. So this is Adam Sosnick, who just embarrassed himself on Piers Morgan with Dave Smith. He's trying to explain why he's so loyal to Israel. Listen to this.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. Am I America first or am I Israel first? America to me is like my mom, and Israel is like my grandma. If I had to choose, I'm going to pick my mom, but that doesn't mean I don't love my grandma. This whole, elementary, are you America first or Israel first? You're able to do a couple different things here.
Did you follow it?
Sorry, Grandma.
Oh my God!
I love my grandma.
When you take that angle, you create, like right now, you know what's going to happen.
So I want to explain this, and that's one clip. I've explained this before. This is where the pro-Israel loyalist, or if you really want to get into a narrow corridor here, this is where Jewish Americans that support Israel are just lost. They don't get it. They have no freaking clue. And what Sosnick says there is a bit of an example. I've heard it and seen it presented in different ways. It's a 2% issue. It's a 2% or less issue because 99% of Americans don't view Israel as their mom, their grandma, their great-grandma, their nanny, their pappy, their dog, their sister, their brother. We have zero connection to Israel. We have zero interest in Israel. Quite frankly, Israel means nothing to us. Nothing. If you want to just be blunt about it, to more than 90% of Americans, Israel means absolutely nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. We have no connection to Israel. We couldn't care less about Israel. It means nothing to us. Now, I understand if you're a Jewish person or an Israeli American, as most of them are, I understand that Israel would mean something to you. I get that. I totally get that. But to the vast majority, to more than 95% of Americans, Israel doesn't mean anything. It is not a topic of conversation. It is not a topic of interest. It is not a country of interest. It is not even theological interesting to us. Zero. There is no appetite for caring about Israel in more than 90% of the American people. And so this is like what the LGBTQ stuff tries to do. It's a less than 2% issue, and they try to ram you over the head with it. It's a virtual 0% issue that Americans are thinking about trans or trans kids or LGBTQ+. This is a minority of a minority issue, and they try to ram it through and make it this big issue that it's not. And then they pretend like, oh, yeah, everybody feels this way about the LGBTQ stuff, and it just doesn't exist. It's the same thing on the right with Israel. It's the same thing. You've got your interest in Israel. You've got your connections, your love, whatever it is, your loyalty. That's you. That's fine. For the 98% of the country, though, it is not like that. We do not care about Israel. We have no connection to Israel. We have no interest in Israel. And again, to put it quite frankly and quite bluntly, we could not care less about Israel. And if you do care about Israel, then that's your prerogative. And if you do think Israel is in an existential fight right now, then you can go over there. You can live there. You can join the IDF. You can fight all the Arabs, fight all the Muslims, whatever you got to do. Leave us out of it. We want nothing to do with it. And that's the big rub here. They feel like they're entitled to it. They feel like they're entitled to the United States of America's blood and treasure. They feel like they're entitled to your interests being Israel, and they're just not. It's like a transgender person that goes to a restaurant, a dude dressed up as a chick, and the waitress says, "Excuse me, sir." "Sir, I'm a ma'am." What? I'm sorry. You're not entitled to me calling you ma'am here. You have a beard. A man with a wig on tries to go into the girl's bathroom. And the women are like, what are you doing? Get out of here. It's like, I'm entitled to being in this space. I'm a woman. No, you're not. 98% of the women don't want you in the bathroom. So that's the left-wing version of this. The right-wing version of this is Israel. And so people like Sosnick and Shapiro and Levin, they say, hey, America, hey, you have to fight for Jews. You have to stand with Jews. You have to stand up for Israel. That's our entitlement here. And 98% of America is saying, what are you talking about? This isn't Israel. I don't live in Israel. This isn't a Jewish country. What are you talking about here? Sorry, you're not entitled to my blood and treasure. Sorry, you're not entitled to my interest. And sorry, quite frankly, I'm not going to sit here and fight for your right to exist. That's your prerogative. I'm not going to fight for the man's right to go into the female bathroom. I'm not going to fight for the man's right to be called ma'am if that's what he wants. Sorry, not interested, not fighting for that. I'm not interested in fighting Israel's wars. I'm not interested in fighting these wars and spending my blood and treasure that they believe they're entitled to in the Middle East because that's what Israel wants. I have no interest. And slowly but surely, every day that goes by, most Americans are realizing this is the situation, specifically on the right. And they just say, oh, but it matters to me. Israel's like my grandma. Cool. And guess what? There's a dude over here, a transgender fella, that wears a wig and makeup that would like to go into the women's bathroom. But guess what? People aren't interested in that either. So it's not a winning issue. Sorry, that's your prerogative. So if you want to walk around in a wig and makeup and pretend to be a woman, then, good luck. It's not going to be very popular. If you want to run around in this country and claim that Israel's the most important issue and America needs to be fighting for Israel's interest, sorry, not interested. We don't want anything to do with that. I don't want men in women's bathrooms, and I don't want Israel controlling America's interests. Simple as that. Final break of the show. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right. Well, what are you going to do tonight? Maybe you're thinking about, do I want to go out on a Friday night? I don't know if I have the energy. Maybe a cup of coffee. Maybe a cup of coffee will give me that energy to go to that party, go to that dinner that you're sitting there like, I'm dreading it. A nice, fresh pot, a nice, fresh cup of Blackout coffee might give you that energy you need, might give you that motivation. Blackout Coffee is the official coffee of the Owen Report. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. They have whole bean or ground bags of coffee, light roast, medium roast, dark roast. They have more than 30 flavors of the single-serve pods, and they have the best premium instant coffee out there. Nothing is even close. If you haven't tried Blackout Coffee, it's the official coffee of the Owen Report. And with coupon code Owen, your first order can get 20% off. You heard that right. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, and your first order will get 20% off. So if you haven't tried it yet, at least take advantage of that, folks. At least take advantage one time of 20% off with coupon code Owen and give it a try. We think you're going to love it. We love it. It's the official coffee of the Owen Report. Find out for yourself. blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. First purchase, 20% off with coupon code Owen.
back to the show with your favorite talk show host, Tits McGee.
I want to kind of make a final closing statement on that last topic here. It's because this is the kind of stuff that can put it into perspective, put it into understanding, and then when you're having these debates, it's just kind of a good tool to have. But it's like this, when somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you need to fight for trans rights," whatever that means, you need to fight for trans rights, and you say, "Oh, no, I'm not really interested in trans rights." They say, "Oh, you're a transphobe." Like, no, I just don't believe men can get pregnant and belong in women's bathrooms and women's sports. "Oh, you're a transphobe." No, I'm not a transphobe. But that's how they attack it from the left. On the right, that's what they do with Israel. On the right, they say, "Hey, you need to fight for Israel. You have a duty to fight and stand for Israel's interests." And you say, "I'm not really interested in Israel. I'm not really concerned about their interests." "Oh, you're an anti-Semite." No, I'm not an anti-Semite. I just don't believe America should be prioritizing a foreign country's interests. I don't believe America should be prioritizing foreign influence and interests. That's all it is. "No, you're an anti-Semite." It's the same thing. "Oh, if you don't support trans rights, you're a transphobe." No. "If you don't support prioritizing Israel, you're an anti-Semite." No. But this is how they attack you. This is how they operate. This is how they attack you from the left and the right to get you to fall for things that normally you wouldn't fall for. All right. A couple odds and ends here. And then we'll get to, I guess, the aerial phenomenon stuff. I was wondering how I would be feeling once I finally got to it. Did you guys see this one today? Trump's FBI Director Kash Patel's emails hacked by Iran-linked cyber criminals with private pics and docs published online. Yikes. Iran-linked hackers have broken into the FBI Director Kash Patel's personal inbox. Well, I wonder if this is isolated. I wonder if more of this isn't happening or hasn't happened or will happen. All the propaganda coming out from this war is all strange from both sides. But I just wonder what's really going on because I don't trust our administration. I don't think we're getting the truth. DOJ sends subpoenas in Warner Paramount antitrust review as probe picks up steam. Yeah, well, obviously there was some sketchiness there that definitely involves Trump. So I'm wondering what the real situation here is. Is this another pressure point on Trump now, like they do with the Epstein files, to get him to bend to their will? And they're saying, "Hey, we know what you did to influence this deal. We're investigating it now. We can make this go away, but, we're going to need you to continue this war." Maybe I'm reaching, but I think you get the point. Or is this the DOJ saying, "See, we looked into the deal. It's fine," even though the deal was entirely corrupt? All right. So now we get into the interesting stuff. So I have to tell you, before we go down this, I'm not going to take you all the way through the rabbit hole. I went into the rabbit holes. I picked up some bits and pieces. I'm bringing them onto the show today. I will say it was refreshing last night. I've been so on the hamster wheel of the Trump TV show. I've been so ingrained in the administration and the day-to-day political developments, the war, the economy, all the other stuff that, I've been just getting like this. I don't know if burnout is the right word, but, it's getting tiresome, especially since it's all going the wrong direction. So going down the rabbit hole last night of the aerial phenomenon, UFOs, and some of the other bits and pieces that are in these rabbit holes, it was a bit refreshing for me. I was probably up too late doing it. But it was just nice to get away from the nonsense of the Trump administration, at least for a moment there. And it was so organic since I just happened to be the one that saw it and kind of made it a big story. So went down these rabbit holes last night with all these different aerial phenomenons that have been going on. And that's what I call it, because I don't want to say it's a UFO. I mean, it's technically a UFO, but there's other interpretations that come along with UFOs. So I just say aerial phenomenons. Most of these are not meteors. Some of them were meteors, I would say. Some of them look like meteors to me. Some of them we've been able to source out. They were either drones, like consumer drones that people add other stuff to make it look different in the sky. So some of this stuff we've been able to pinpoint. One specifically that you may have seen, I don't know if it ended up making my final video roll here, but the one specifically that you've probably seen where it looks like something is, it looks like it's flying through the sky. It's got a huge trail behind it. It turned out that was some man-made miniature airplane that these guys attached a bunch of fireworks to the back of it. And so when you see this thing, it looks like a dragon or something flying around the sky, twisting and turning with pyrotechnics coming off. We were able to find that out. The people that did that had a video of it. They showed that they were doing it. So some of this stuff we've determined what it is. However, most of the stuff we have not determined what it is, and there's enough of it that makes it suspicious, I guess. I don't know if suspicious is the right word to use, but it's interesting. It's curious. And when you surround it with these other stories, it just makes it even more weird. Now, these things could not be connected, but also they could be connected. And how could you not wonder? So you've seen these disappearances in the scientific community lately. This gets published today. Another woman tied to U.S. scientific secrets vanishes. The case of a New Mexico mother who vanished without a trace last year has now been connected to the mysterious deaths and disappearances of 5 other key scientists and defense officials. Melissa Cassius has not been seen since June 26, 2025, when her family said she uncharacteristically decided to work from home, but was last spotted miles from their house walking alone without her wallet, phone, or keys. So it goes on to talk about who she is: administrative assistant at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, founded by the famed Manhattan Project during World War II, tied to nuclear weapons research, a bunch of other interesting stuff. She's disappeared. NASA scientist Monica Riza has disappeared. Air Force General William Neal McCasland has disappeared, amongst others. So these are people that are tied into nuclear, tied into UFOs, aliens. This is their specialty, and these people are disappearing and or dying in the last year. Mystery of 5 missing scientists sends chills across America. 3 are dead, and 1 troubling link is now under scrutiny in D.C. Well, you don't hear too much about this. And, of course, the backdrop of Trump talking about the alien files, and then you have the House Oversight Committee investigating alien files and talking about stuff that they've seen, what they can see. And you can't forget about Carl Grillmeyer, who was a leading physicist, nuclear physicist, who was shot dead on his porch out of nowhere, that they just claimed was part of this killing spree that the college shooter engaged in. They just said, oh, he just happened to be tied up in this college shooter spree. Just, oh, yeah. I don't believe that for a second. What was it, Brown University? I forget the university it was at. So they just tried to tie it into that shooting, and it really makes no sense. While fireballs fall through roofs in Germany, Ohio, and Houston, the Caltech scientist who tested whether we'd see them coming was shot dead on his porch. Carl Grillmeyer. His killer's charges were dismissed 11 days earlier. Frank Maywald, senior technical manager at JPL building at NASA's next generational of orbital surveillance instrument. He died. No cause of death, no press release, no memorial, no obituary. They talk about a couple other names in this post from the Sentinel Network. So it's digging into all these mysterious deaths and disappearances of people that are high into the science, physics community connected to the government. Tim Burchett, who's on these committees, by the way, says keep digging. So Tim Burchett seems to have some idea that these things are connected and significant. And he's saying keep digging into this research that we just briefly covered. He also shot this video. There's a documentary. It's either out or coming out. Maybe it's out. The Age of Disclosure. I'm not sure. This one might be out, guys. It's called The Age of Disclosure. They interviewed Tim Burchett. The caption is, they will make people disappear to hide the truth. Tim Burchett says, unfortunately, this has become the reality, not just an opinion. Here's what he said in the documentary.
Folks have come forward that have stated, in fact, that they have worked on craft out of this world origin. I feel like they've taken their life in their own hands.
People whose job it is to make sure information doesn't get out will use whatever tool they can find.
If they are a clear and present national security threat, we can kill Americans. Now, it's not done very often, but we can. Without a fair trial, they just disappear.
Folks.
So it's on Amazon Prime, I guess. It said Prime Video. Maybe it's out. I haven't seen it. So, yeah. You know, I was going to show you a bunch of these different aerial phenomenons. I'm just going to, I guess we can flash some of them. But like I said, it was so hard to source a lot of this and to find out, what is significant, what is not, what they had determined was, somebody with a drone, somebody with a homemade airplane, or an actual UFO. But now, going down this rabbit hole, there's so many videos like this. And I mean, obviously, if you saw this, you've never seen anything like this before.
What the fuck is that, bro? Am I tripping right now? Holy shit.
Now, it's funny because I had a similar reaction to when I saw what I saw the other day. And it's like you're seeing it, you're like, whoa, what the hell? And then you keep looking at it, and the longer you look at it, the more you realize there's something weird happening with this. And I've seen a meteor. I know what meteors look like. I know what they look like when they're above the atmosphere. I know what they look like when they enter the atmosphere. And that's not a meteor. And what I saw was certainly not a meteor. And a lot of these things aren't meteors, but that's what they're trying to claim it. If you're crunching data, this is what they're claiming. Now, here is, again, there's all these other videos. They share this one, a fireball over Ohio. Now, that could be a meteor. This is what meteors do look like. And they can have a bunch of different colors, by the way. And maybe that just kind of depends on what they're actually made of. But this is what a meteor looks like. It moves fast. It's a couple seconds of a phenomenon. And when it actually hits the atmosphere, you can see it slows down and breaks apart. So this is what a meteor looks like, okay? And by the way, this is obviously different than a shooting star. Shooting stars are, out in space. So just to clarify the difference between all of these things, I'm just, I guess, lucky enough to have seen multiple instances of all of these things, dozens of times. Really cool. So that's a meteor probably to me. It comes out of the sky. Now, sometimes they stay in the sky and you won't even see them go into the atmosphere. But if they do come into the atmosphere, that's what they look like. So I would say that's probably a meteor. That is not what I saw. Now, the NASA data that tracks this stuff. Here we have a fireball sighting over the United States, summed by month via NASA data from 2018 to 2026. Currently, we're at a 4.5 standard deviations above the average of about 2 fireball sightings per month for this time frame. Keep in mind, no big meteor streams are known for March, though some are much lesser ones exist. Again, not normal. So I would say the reason why you have this uptick is because they're not meteors. I think things are being reported as meteors that are not meteors. That would be my guess as to why this number has skyrocketed. AccuWeather also happens to track this information. March is lighting up. This month we have seen the most fireball sightings since 2012, with multiple bright meteors streaking across skies in the U.S. and Europe. Now, again, I wonder, are we actually talking about meteors, or are we talking about other things people see that are not meteors? Here's an example. This was from Tennessee, I believe, earlier this week. In fact, let's go to this right here. This is the closest, I would say, this is the closest to what I saw. If I could find any video that was as close to what I saw as what I saw was, it would probably be this. Again, it looks like an object on fire falling out of the sky. Now, that is obviously not a meteor. A meteor takes a couple of seconds. This phenomenon lasted multiple minutes. And I would say that it's fair to assess this. It's different with the naked eye than with a video, obviously. And this video is very pixelated because you're probably zoomed in as much as you can trying to catch this. So the videos don't actually do it justice. But I think you can watch this video and probably fairly conclude that's not a chemtrail or a contrail. That's not just a normal airplane flying across the sky, leaving a little streak or getting a reflection off of the sun. I think even from watching this, you can see that's probably not the case. And this is exactly, I mean, this is very close to what I saw yesterday, I would say. This is the closest thing that wasn't a video from yesterday that I could say. I mean, you see this in the sky, what are you thinking? And to be clear, you could tell it wasn't flying away. And I know it's hard. It's hard to claim that you have a depth perception with something that is, so far away. But I'd like to think there's still a sense of depth perception, even if it is that far away. You could tell this thing was not flying away. You could tell this thing was flying down. It was falling. It wasn't flying. It wasn't going away. It was falling. You could see that. And I think if you saw this in person, you would probably make the same conclusion. Now, it wasn't like this. If you see this video, now this you could maybe claim might be an airplane. Now, the person that saw this might think otherwise. But my point is that this is a white streak that sometimes you might see that might be an airplane. Now, I guess you might say, is that too high to be an airplane? The point is that is not what I saw. This is not what I saw. This is closer to what I saw. Now, interestingly enough, we've had multiple stories about drones going missing. Multiple interesting drone stories. And then this one that got buried. Sophisticated drones attacked Louisiana's Barksdale bomber base. It is the first time a U.S. base was temporarily put out of operation in wartime, something that never happened even during World War II. So maybe there's some drone stuff going on. Adam Cochran goes into some deeper detail here. Sophisticated drones attacked the U.S. base where we store the nuclear bombers. And by the way, I'm pretty sure the oil refinery that got hit in Texas also does jet fuel. Are these things connected? So the drones had non-commercial signals, were resistant to jamming, came in waves of 12 to 15, swept over sensitive areas of the base, had long-range control links, were more advanced than anything seen in Ukraine, beyond Iranian capabilities, so we think. But Trump came out this week and admitted that we actually don't know Iran's capabilities. We underestimated them. Trump admitted that this week. Over the multiple days of incursion, local residents heard explosions, which Barksdale claimed was weapons testing. This is the second base incursion of sensitive site in the U.S. in the last 2 weeks. So you can't help but wonder if this isn't all connected. I don't think that's too crazy. I don't think you're out of your mind to wonder if this is all connected. Now, I guess I can pull up my stuff. I guess it's worth even pulling up my stuff now. Well, actually, it's not my stuff. It's other people's stuff that saw what I saw. Here's one video. And this, again, folks, this all happened after I reported on it. I don't know if this stuff goes as viral if I wasn't reporting on it. And that's not to, like, claim some credit. I'm just saying the only people that were sharing this stuff had, like 30, 40 followers. And then I started sharing it and posting about it. And then everybody else started to pick it up. And they were even giving me credit here, like Don Luker, who's got multiple millions of followers. So here's what's so difficult about this. And I want to try to explain. I think I had a similar perspective here. So let me try to explain why this is so difficult to break down. So as you can see in this image, and that's why I'm saying there were multiple objects. It was hard to keep track of them. Plus, at the time I was driving. But so let me explain best I can with this video, which is really late. This is really late in this whole aerial development phenomenon. But this is why it was so hard to capture it. So as you can see, these things are so far away. They're so high in the sky. It's like they're scraping against the atmosphere. It's like they're in space. And just for reference, here is an airplane right here. Okay? So just for reference, here is an airplane. This and this are something else. If they're airplanes, I've never seen an airplane like that. I've never seen an airplane move like that. I've never seen an airplane that high in the atmosphere. Now, I'll give you another videos of whatever those things are. But these are the two, let's say, UFOs of interest right here, okay? Now, there was a third object, and this is why it was so hard to kind of get it all into one frame. But what you'll see at the end here, so there's a more zoomed-in version. And, okay, so this is what fell out of the sky right here. Now, as you can see, this trail is obviously different than these trails. I mean, folks, you zoom in on this. I got another image I can try to share. I mean, you zoom in on this, folks. This looks like a rocket. And I'll get into all of this in a second. Okay? But this looks like a rocket. There's no way this is an airplane. I'm sorry. I don't believe this is an airplane. Okay? I don't know what it is. I don't believe it's an airplane. But even from this, it's so hard. Even from this has a different profile than this does. So there could have been multiple things happening here. But then there was this. This is the thing that fell out of the sky. This is what I was describing as a fireball. This video doesn't nearly do it justice. But as you can see, this has a totally different trail as well. And obviously, light reflections and other stuff is going to play a role in how all of this appears. But I'm telling you, I witnessed it. And I've never seen anything like it. These weren't normal airplanes, whatever they were. This is not normal stuff that happens in our sky. And it appeared to me and others that this object, whatever it was on fire and got maybe shot out of the sky. Okay, but this is all late in the game here. So when this first started happening, for some more context here, when it first started happening, this and the other object were all in the same airspace. They were all right next to each other. And you see it, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, that's when I talk about there being like a striking object, unavoidable, it was those three objects, and then I think a couple actual planes flying by, but at a much lower altitude. It was those three objects that were standing out there, obviously different, obviously like UFO territory. You see that, you're like, whoa, what is that? Okay, and then the one that ends up going down here, it was like they shot it down or something. So all this, and the object down here, we're all in the same airspace. And then this one turned into a fireball, and these two went their separate ways. Okay, so just to give you a little context, and this is very close to the same view I had. But this right here, fell out of the sky, and it was originally all the way up here with the rest of them, and it fell out of the sky like that, looking like it was on fire the whole time. Let me pull up a direct image. Let me see if I can find the exact image. Here's I don't know. I can't tell you whether this is the same image or not because this is a much different angle. But this did happen last night. So this person posted it last night. But I don't know which object. I don't know which object this is, and this is obviously a different angle than the one I had. And this is one of the things I shared first when I was looking if anybody else saw this, and I found that. So I mean, I guess reach your own conclusions, but that's close to what I saw too, but just a different angle, it looks like. Here's how one other guy described it. 2 jets scrambled, large object falling from the sky over Austin, Texas. That's how I would have first perceived it as it was happening. These are not commercial aircraft. I'd say 0% chance at that. And then maybe there's I'm trying to think if I can find the other angle. But I think the video we shared at first, this might be a good one. It's like you can see that is not a commercial aircraft. If anything, that's what a rocket looks like when it's like scraping the atmosphere. So this is one of those objects that was way, way high in the sky that was like in a dogfight with whatever was going on and then left. So people saw this. We blow it up. It totally went viral. Apparently, this had been going on. This was a story from earlier this week that I hadn't seen. But this is local news in Austin. Fireballs over the U.S. Why multiple meteors lit up the sky in 1 week. And then it shows some different images, and they say, oh, these are meteors. Well, these might be meteors. That looks like a meteor. I don't know about that. That could be a meteor, but I don't know about that. It's hard with just a still image. Anyway, these things are being reported everywhere. It's like it's happening everywhere. Now, here's what I will tell you. In this rabbit hole I went down last night and then kind of got back into it this morning. I talked to military, and I talked to, and I have to be careful about this because they want to protect their identity. But I think you can get a pretty good idea based off of where I live, what I'm talking about here. I talked to military, and I talked to astrophysicists. I mean, people that literally build rockets, okay? That's literally what they do. And what they told me was virtually the same thing. Now, who knows if it's military or not, but what they believe is that there was some sort of it was a drone or some sort of an aircraft, and whatever the two things that stayed in the sky were, they were scrambled to go investigate this aircraft and then eventually shoot it down. That's what they believe. And the military guy said that's what it would look like if we shot if we shot something out of the sky, that's what it would look like. The guy that works on spaceships said the closest thing I've ever seen that looks like that is a rocket launch. That looks like a rocket. So, I don't really care about, if people want to laugh at us and think we're crazy for seeing this stuff. I saw it, you didn't, but I get it. It sounds crazy, tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist stuff. That's fine. But I saw it. And I'm telling you, I've lived here for 36 years on this planet. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I've pretty much seen it all. And then when I talk to military people and I talk to actual astrophysicists and actual people that build rockets, and they're telling me, no, you're onto something. I agree with what you're saying. Maybe we're not so crazy. And so maybe the people that want to laugh and call us crazy and think that they got it all figured out, maybe you should listen to the experts. Maybe you should listen to the people that actually saw it. You didn't see it. You're not an expert. And mostly it's people that just want to jump on you because you have a political disagreement is what I've noticed. But it was weird, guys. I'm telling you, there is weird stuff going on in the skies. I think that's kind of the conclusion here after going through this rabbit hole. There are weird things happening in our skies, and who knows what it is. It could be military drills. It could be new spaceship technology. But it's not normal. It's happening across the country. And considering this stuff just started ticking up when the war started, maybe it's a little more significant than just another UFO story. But I will tell you this. It wasn't a meteor. It was not a meteor. So if they try to claim it's a meteor, that is ridiculous. All right. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go to the Super Chats then, huh? As we do at the end of our show, we go into the Super Chat on a Friday, guys. On a Friday, and then we're done. Then we can enjoy our weekend, hopefully. Huh? The Comb Kid? The Comc Kid? The Combo Kid? First ever Super Chat. If anyone still has faith in either party, they're a binary, surface level thinking, IQ 42 re-hatard. That's a strong first Super Chat. Owen Schroyer's wifey. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. You going to sing it for me? 1 of 1K. You flirt well in Twitter spaces. I was taking notes. You got game, homeboy. You think so? My brother in Christ, that was 1% operational capacity. Maybe less. DZ, is it true Obama is seeking asylum or fake news? I've not heard of that. I would say that's probably fake news. Connie Reloaded, show us your six-pack. Connie, for $5? What is this? What do I look like to you? You think this is worth $5? It's insulting. Mogmaxing. Get on it. Dustvault, imagine being Ben Shapiro and sucking so bad at politics for 2 decades that you have to steal another movement because their ideas suck that bad. Yeah, he's hemorrhaging audience members. He's hemorrhaging subscribers on YouTube. It's where it should be. Tay from Florida. Clav arrested for battery, not shooting gator in Florida. Yeah, I saw that. First of all, I didn't like the shooting of the gator. And then I guess they said it was dead. I don't know. I just don't like it. That's like, and look, he's young. I'm not going to act like I didn't do dumb things when I was young. But to me, that's like demonic. Like if you think that's fun to just fire rounds into a dead alligator, I don't know. It's a little demonic for me. It's like it's like you've lost your soul a little bit. But I guess that's kind of his thing in a way. And so people were freaking out. They were like, oh, Florida, the Florida hunting and game or whatever it is, fisheries, wild, whatever it is that handles that stuff. They were like, oh, they're serious. They're going to get him. But apparently it was some incident, I guess, in his condo with a girl. You know, I said it. Didn't I say it months ago with the Clav thing? I said, look, this guy's going to end up in jail. If he doesn't calm it down, he's going to get a rude wake-up call here. So I don't know if this is the one, but how are we supposed to watch you when the grid fails? Good question. I guess we need to figure that out. I guess I just need to get Starlink. I guess that's the thing after today. Just get Starlink. Jake Egger. Is Don Jr. and Eric really not telling Trump how crappy his decisions are? No way Don Jr. hasn't told him he's doing a bad job. Well, I think that they're just cashing in on the policies, and so they're not as concerned about the politics, is my measurement. They're cashing in on the policies. They're cashing in on how the policies are driving certain sectors like databases and AI and drones. So I think they're just cashing in. So I don't think they're as interested in the politics right now. I think they're just cashing in on this administration, and so they're just going to remain silent, is how I kind of interpret that. Welcome to the Great Reset. Eat the bugs. Are they going to do a shutdown over all of this? You wonder. If the Dems don't investigate Patel for messing with Kirk's investigation and foreign influence on his death, they will investigate the cover-up of the Epstein list by Bondi. There is a win if they do it. I wonder if they'll go there. Either one of those two. I do wonder. I don't think we really know what the Democrats are going to do. You know, I think we can make some pretty safe assumptions, but you can see the Democrats, you know, they see the void right now in policy. And so they're going to lean in on foreign policy. They're going to lean in on AI policy, all the different issues that raise with that. But yeah, I would imagine if the Democrats go and get the House and the Senate, that they're you know, we'll see how crazy they go after Trump again. But I think it's fair to say at least impeachment and then maybe investigating these other things too. Narco R2D2 Marco. Joe Kent told Harrison that Israel coup U.S. government. Yeah, I mean, it's never been more obvious. Matt Schlapp, douche of the day. Jeez. You promised to bathe the tortoise and clean the garage. What are you going to do about it? Zombie love stick. Republicans treat politics like college football. You win some, lose some. Democrats treat politics like a holy war. No. Oh. You're killing it, Owen. Stay in the fight. We're with you, buddy. Thank you. I'm not mad at the crew. Well, I am the crew, so I have to be mad at myself. Try closing the garage door. Could be muffling sound. I keep seeing these people saying there's a sound issue. Nobody's telling me there's a sound issue. I don't know what's going on. I told you we had some weird technical stuff. Trump is saying crazy stuff at some speech right now. People are sending me some stuff. The guy's just out of his mind. He's lost his mind. He's off his rocker. No, we're going to do a system reset here, I think, is what we're going to do this weekend. I think we're just going to do a system reset. Maybe that'll dust some of the cobwebs that we experienced the last couple of days. RTBT, what's your favorite snack and go-to meal? I don't really snack. My favorite snack, I don't know. I'll do, I'll just get a spoon and literally just scoop into honey peanut butter. Or peanuts, maybe. Or I'll eat like a whole carton of raspberries or blueberries, maybe. Go-to meal, I mean, steak, I'd say. Probably steak. I just eat steak all the time. But it's getting pretty expensive, I got to be honest. Kind of switching to ground beef. Solosphere, since you're still caught up in politics, maybe you can tell us which PDF file Rothschild puppet we should vote for this time. Well, when we get there, I'll let you know. Red Light Meat and Pizza. I bought the Dark MAGA hat back in the day when you were at InfoWars. Dark MAGA needs to come back. We need America first. No more foreign entanglements. Most people feel that way, by the way. Another Tiger Woods DUI. I saw he was in a car accident, but did he really get a DUI? Is that true? I didn't see that. Hope he's okay. Wasn't he supposed to compete in the Masters this year? Or he was hoping to. It's a couple weeks away now. That could be a problem. Avidia Nirvana. I know it's not much, but here's $5 for being one of the only people I can stomach to listen to anymore. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad you can stomach me. Sometimes I wonder. I appreciate that. Everyone knows deleting 160 schoolgirls brings peace. Oh, yeah. It's so crazy, man. And it's all about information control. It's all about information control. It's all about narrative control and then the different mechanisms they have of doing this. Because when I had that panel on Wednesday and one of us brought up the schoolgirls that were killed, I don't know if this will make the final cut. And the boomer said, Iran killed those schoolgirls. And it's just like, you guys don't know. It's like, if they don't see it on Fox News, it doesn't exist. And they really believe Iran did it. And it's just, there's nothing you can do. Wolf Krieger, have you thought about radio or TV syndication? If so, never go with Cumulus or the other networks. Build it from the ground up like old school AJ. Would love to tune in on local AM or Sirius. I said I'd love to be on Sirius. I don't know where terrestrial radio really goes. I mean, I've been on terrestrial radio. I would, you know, I would syndicate the show. Absolutely. I would absolutely syndicate the show. But that opportunity hasn't really presented itself. I had a couple people reach out. I won't say the networks they're with that were interested in picking up the show. But it didn't really manifest. And since I don't really, I mean, if the right syndication offer came to me, then I would consider going back to that schedule. But you know, then you have to start looking at a schedule and commercials and different, ad revenue sharing and stuff. And so the right deal just didn't happen. But I would do it for the right deal. I think I belong on Sirius XM, honestly. That's where I think the show needs to eventually get. Jen Common, Joe Kent, also out. Trump is an embarrassment. Yeah, we had mentioned how that was going to be the beginning of it. That's why I covered those other ones. Nukes aren't real. Japan was carpet bombed, not a nuke. They use them as a fear tactic, and it works on us every time. I hear that a lot. Expose 305, Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, no longer I that lives, but Christ in and the Word became flesh. We are his people, Owen. We are his jewels. Thank you, Expose. Jared Huss, Orange Toad, biggest rise and fall in politics. Yeah, it was kind of multiple rise and falls, too. Multiple peaks and valleys with this one. Finally came around to watch Team America. Felt like our now presidency blowing up everything. I told you it would be relevant. I told you. So I guess now I got to do a weekend movie, huh? I guess now I got to do a weekend movie for you guys. Tell you what, given the theme of the day, let's do this one. This is really an all-time classic. And really, if you got family, if you got kids at home, then this is a total winner. This is 100% winner if you want to watch a movie with your family, with your kids. But even if you just want to watch it alone, it's really just a great movie. Stardust, pretty loaded cast. Stardust came out, I want to say early 2000s. And if you've never seen it, you're going to be stunned that you don't hear more about it or that you've never seen it. It's like, it really is an all-time great movie, but it doesn't get much recognition for whatever reason. It has a loaded cast, but it just doesn't get its proper recognition. I think Stardust is one of the great family fantasy movies, let's say. It's got a little adult content in it, just to give you a little something. But no, it's very family-friendly. Stardust, given the attitude of the show today, Stardust, Total winner. Total winner. If you got kids at home, you got family, whatever, you want to sit down with friends and family, watch a movie. Stardust, total winner. Just a great movie. So that's what we're going to go with for the weekend. There you go. You're welcome. Why doesn't anyone correct Trump on Fox News? Well, it's their job not to, and they don't want to lose it. The Founders Press, instead of the White House X account telling us about fireballs, it's advertising his phone. Congress doesn't hold him accountable. How can this end well for us? The whole social media thing is just out of control. And I will give him credit. Like, it's so insane and crazy that it does spark curiosity and interest, but every time it just flops. Every time it just leads you to more slop. Like all that weirdness, all that cryptic stuff yesterday, and then it's some app. It's some government app that's going to track and trace you and spy on you. No thanks. Like, what are we doing? I've never seen Tucker choose any country over the United States. Neither have I, but other people would argue otherwise. KJV, Blue Letter Bible, Concordance help you break away from the flesh and know Jesus in a personal spirit. The word became flesh. Owen, you're a badass, dude. He said it. I read it. That's what we do at the Super Chats. Jose Navarro, Domino's about to fall last. MAGA in complete denial. When influencers can't grift anymore, too unpopular. Gas prices don't go down. Chaos incoming. And we're all kind of feeling that way. And then it's just going to get so embarrassing for Trump and the administration. It's going to be, honestly, folks, I'm telling you, it's going to be worse than Biden. It's going to be worse than Robot Biden or whatever the hell was going on. The faux news boomer slop behind you is glorious. You got to have the slop. Literal seal chasing a beach ball video. What is that one? We didn't play any Randy Fine clips. No, I love these people that are like, oh, you follow Drudge or you watch CNN. Yeah, I watch everything. It's called news aggregation. Yeah, I watch everything. I consume everything. It's how you know what's going on. If you only have one source of information or one direction of information, that's how you get brainwashed. Ken Rose, thank you. What about fighting for the right to party? How many kids know about that one, Jen? The unisex bathroom was promised to me 3,000 years ago. Oy vey. Did anyone ask yet what the movie recommendation is? We got it. We did it. We knocked it out. Iron Lunatic, thank you. JV Free, here we go. Spoke with AJ. He wants to reunite. Praise Jesus. Really? Did you, or are you just saying that? Movie recommendation. Empire of the Sun, masterpiece. I don't know if I've seen that one. Maybe I'll look into that. Had a couple recommendations this week. I like the movie talk. Let's keep it up. Grandmother. No, Israel is more like the demonic stepchild no one wants around but tolerates because mommy can never tell it no. There you go. There's your analogy for the day. Starry Nights. Yeah, we're on point. We are on point. 10K American troops for $5 a gallon. Meanwhile, Iran gets 10 cents a gallon. At least they can roam free over there. Who knows what's really going on? 15,000 troops, boots on the ground. Who knows? We're not getting any honesty from this administration. Owen, why didn't you video what you saw in the sky? Well, I will tell you, I was driving. And then when I got to my destination, it was kind of too late. And the videos I got are they're pretty much worthless, is why I would say. So I do have some video of it, but they're mostly worthless. And the videos that I found and that I shared are much more valuable. So there was really no point. I believe me, I tried. Pittsburgh, bad. Those weren't meteors. Those were Trump campaign promises going up in flames. Nice. Faster than my Bonaire. Oh, no. No. You had me on the first one. I'm not going to. No. There are about 40,000 total human-made objects in orbit around the Earth. They routinely fall out of orbit and burn up, re-entering our atmosphere. I've seen that, actually. I have seen that, but that was not what I saw last night. The GUI, as AI is at it again, Owen, raising their console prices to the Pro is $900. Oh, Sony is raising their prices to the Pro $900, and the new base PS5 is $650. Now everything in this economy sucks. So I actually saw that. It's funny you say that. I had a video game news story here. Hell, I'll pull it up. I was going to get to this, but since you brought it up. Guys, are they listening? The daily audience knows. Are they listening, guys? Did I not say that the immediate future of video games is just re-platforming all the classic games? Huh? Have I not been saying that? And now they're doing it. They did it with Pokemon. They're doing it again on the Nintendo Switch. Eventually, Xbox and PS5 will do the same thing. So Nintendo Switch is apparently going to re-platform Zelda Ocarina of Time. Excuse me. Now, I'm a little confused by this one because I'm pretty sure you can already access that on the Nintendo 64 app on the Switch. So I'm not sure if they're like fixing latency or graphic issues or just, kind of re-platforming it in, a better playable way. But nonetheless, they're getting it now. They're getting it now, especially since they're so behind on all of these games. They're like, okay, let's just re-platform the classics. Plus, they sell, low overhead. Brilliant idea. I think they're listening to me. I mean, I would like to get my cut. I would like to get my cut for being, a marketing genius. But that's all right. We do it for the people. So, yeah, okay. I'm waiting, and apparently they're going to do a new Star Fox game. They need to re-platform Star Fox Adventures. Let me give you that idea. Re-platform Star Fox Adventures as soon as possible. And I know you guys have the GameCube app now, so re-platform that game. It'd be huge. I saw the PS5. It's not for a couple months, but Sony announced, what is it? It's like $500. It's like $49 or $499. They're upping it to $650 like this summer. I don't know much about these new systems and the pricing. It's like all microtransactions anyway. That is crazy, though. That's just the state of the economy, man. Can't even afford a damn video game. Hey, Owen, happy to put a tip in the jar. I love the bumper music, but missed the long explanation for it. Would you help a friend out who's building his son's treehouse? That's awesome. That's awesome, Zach. Hopefully you'll have that treehouse up by this weekend. But don't rush it now. We got to have that thing standing for decades, really. Yeah, so it's not a very long explanation. But basically, I cannot play music. My channel gets dinged every time. It always dings me. And then it hurts me in the algorithm. And then it can potentially get me a strike. So we tried to find different ways to play music. And no matter what happened, it always dinged the channels. So we just bailed. And when I discovered that I can play old video game music and it doesn't affect anything, it doesn't get dinged, I just said, screw it, we'll just do the old video game music. Now, there are ways that you can play music, but there are overhead costs that come along with that. So, again, this is all like long-term stuff. And I guess, next week it'll still be March. But we're about to conclude month number 6. So I want to remind guys, I know I've been on air. I know a lot of you guys have been listening to me for a while. I know I've been doing this for, 15 years or so now. But you have to remember, this Owen Report and the Win Network is only 6 months old. This is still like I'm in the premortal ooze still with this show and this channel. So there's still a lot of stuff I'd like to do in the future. But it's all about budget. It's all about, growth. It's all about success as far as the channel, the followers, everything like that. So as the show grows, as the channel grows, as the budget grows, we can start to do some of this stuff. But that's an overhead cost to get the rights to the music. It's one we just can't afford right now, and there's a bunch of hoops you have to jump through. So we just do the free use stuff. It's nostalgic for me. It's nostalgic for you. I think it slaps. I think it fits as far as the news content. So that's what it is. Are we sure it wasn't Goose and Maverick singing? Just go watch Maverick if you're thinking about Top Gun. Listen to the expert. Sounds like COVID again. Hey, come on. Can we get those robots for our floating restaurant? I think so. I like it. We'll have them dancing, serving up pancakes. Scam Bongino. Connie, give him 50 for a show. 50, gringo? 50,000 maybe. Come on now. For 50,000, I take off the shirt. For 50,000, we'll build a new studio. How about that? OnlyFans, shirt off broadcast for 50K, and we can build a new studio. It'll be worth it. That's the only way we can do this. It's the only way. Yeah. No username. Times are tough. My mom said, show a bicep for $10. Give Sandy a shout out. She loves you. You guys are, you're cheapening me here. Look, I don't mind the looks maxing stuff. I don't mind, being the mannequin eye candy. I'm okay with that. I kind of like it. I'll be honest. But I'm not going to turn this thing. I'm not going to turn this thing into where you're trying to take it. Throw a couple more zeros on there and I'll consider it. I'll take the shirt off for 50 grand and we'll take that money and we'll build a new studio. That's how I can justify it. You're not going to treat me like one of the strip clubs down the road here, okay? We're not going to do that here. So, put a couple zeros there. Maybe you can see what it is you're looking for. Maybe. But I appreciate the thought, Sandy. Scam Bongino. Hey, Owen, first-time super chatter, long-time listener, 3-time Trump voter. He betrayed us. Is it worth it to flood his Truth Social to get him to stop war? Does he even read the comments? I don't know. I'm not on Truth Social. I would imagine it's just an echo chamber silo over there. So you would probably know the answer to that question more than I. I simply do not know. I would doubt it, though, honestly. I doubt he reads it. I'd think he'd be more interested in what's being on X, but I don't know. Big Don, while we juggle the meaning of the fireballs in the sky, I have two that Trump can juggle. I think there's a Trump in a dress pic out there somewhere, or a Trump with Bubba, you know that whole thing. Bad Boy Channel, have a good weekend, bro. Hey, you too. Yoder Boys, no matter who is president, Christ is king. Slice Man, 420, are you downloading the new White House spy app, Goy? I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on the new slop from the White House. Justin Lane. Thank you, Justin. Vivi Delgado. What about new toxic refinery in Brownsville, Texas? Our new toxic refinery. What are you talking about? Down there on the border, there a new refinery? Or are you talking about the one that just blew up? Need a little more info. You need Jesse Lee Peterson on weekly. Yeah, me and Jesse used to talk all the time. F the gov, all of it. Say it one more time for us, though, just to make sure. Crusader Friend, the ADL video game list was hilarious. It makes me want to go out and buy, I guess that was an Xbox or a PlayStation deal. It actually makes me want to go out and buy a new video game console just to play those games where I can go into the lobby and talk trash again. I don't know if I would want to talk trash, but I would want to listen because it's funny and nostalgic. That is crazy. The ADL video game list measuring anti-Semitism in video games. I mean, these people are nuts. A-Rod Belens, is it time to unsubscribe to Matt Walsh? I don't know. I don't really follow too much of Matt Walsh. I mean, I every once in a while check out his stuff, see what he's saying. But he hasn't done anything to be unsubscribed. I feel like he kind of presses the limits a little bit at the Daily Wire. So I would say no, but I don't know if I have enough information to really answer that. Palmetto Hawk, since you just had a close encounter, now would be a great time to get the I Want to Believe X-Files poster for the garage door. Doesn't somebody else already do that? That's somebody else's deal. I think Kyle Seraphin has one of those. What if I got, no, Tim Pool has that. The floating spaceship, the magnetic spaceship. I actually have a floating Earth. I don't know if you can see it from this angle. It didn't really look good. It's behind the lion statue right here. There's a floating Earth right behind that. It didn't really translate to video, so I replaced it with the lion on my break shot here. Should we turn this show into a UFO show? There's plenty of that content out there. Hung Wee Low. This is player hater number 1, War Machine move of the weekend. Nice picture. What if aliens land and they're anti-Semitic? Well, that could mean galactic war then, right? Also, let's get a U of A Wildcats. I missed out on the basketball last night. I missed out on it. I did see Arizona advance. I did see Iowa in an upset. I did see the Illini in an upset. But I missed out on last night's game. So if you're a Wildcats fan, you enjoyed that. I miss Rabbi Schroyer. He almost got me to convert. Oh, boy. Do it again. Would you mind sharing with us what it was like in solitary confinement? If not, I understand. I'm just curious if it's as bad as they say it is. I'll tell you what. I don't mind doing it. I'm not going to do it right now. Is it as bad as they say it is? It actually depends. It probably could have been worse for me. It's just there's so much I could say about that. I don't want to get into it now, but sometimes, yes, sometimes it is as bad as they say it is. Absolutely. It could have been worse for me, but I had some friendlies that made it not as bad as it could have been, I would say. But for some, yes, it's as bad. I mean, you can only imagine. I mean, it changes everything. You're in a 6x10 cell for months. I mean, it messes with you. $50K and a new garage. Damn right, I'll do it. You got a deal. A whole show of it. Do Owen Show members only shows? Join/membership from Shirley Maldo. I get these requests a lot. I have subscribers on X, and I don't really do any subscriber-based content because I hate putting content behind a paywall. I just don't like doing it. The one thing I've been thinking about, because there always has to be strategy, right? But you don't want to overthink things. But I was thinking about, and I don't even know if it's not even that I would put it behind a paywall. But, I got a couple inquiries about the potential of a summer party that I have hosted before. And I got a couple inquiries, but I'm thinking, how do I actually do that right? Because if I'm going to do it, I have to do it right. And if I'm going to do it right, I want it to be an annual thing. So it's like you have to make sure it's done right. So I was thinking, and I was talking to my social media girl about, there's apparently a Facebook account. It's not me. There's apparently a Facebook account that's dummying me, pretending to be me, and they're monetized, and they might be making some decent cash. So they brought this to my attention, and I said, well, can we just take the account over? Like, can we reach out to this person and take it over maybe? And we kind of discussed that, but then I don't think that really went anywhere. So, but now I'm thinking, too, because I've had Telegram get brought up, Facebook get brought up. So I'm thinking, how can I do, I guess I could do it live on the show, but then it kind of becomes like a static, isolated thing. Where if I have like a Telegram chat or a Facebook page, I can be like, okay, guys, if I did a party this summer, what would you want it to be like? How would you want it to go? Would you prefer it in Austin, Texas? Would you prefer it in St. Louis, Missouri? Those would be my two options. And then what would you want to, what would you want to be at the party? How would you want it to go? Would you want it more like a classy thing? Like an indoor style, like adult prom theme, or would you want it like outdoor, like a summer style, at the pool DJ party? It's like I'd want to make sure we do it right so that people want to go and have a good time. But that really, I guess, doesn't address the question. But I just don't like putting anything behind a paywall is my thing. Mego Von Villain tried to beam up in spaces last night about the fireballs. One was hovering over my area right then, but I'm a nobody, so I was denied, or having a villain in my name backfired. So Destiny, so you were in the space that I was briefly in last night for a couple minutes. Destiny uploaded her video. It's definitely weird. I mean, it's totally different than what I saw, but she got something on her HD camera. The real enemy, you're going to get me in trouble, man. The hats. The hat factor. You're going to put on your Tim Walz hat? Tim Walz. What a goof. Why don't you use the same website Myron uses for super chats? Rumble users could then use it, and you don't get taxed 40% by YouTube. Interesting. Maybe I do need to look into that. Maybe I do. Again, you have to understand, though. You have to understand, folks, I run the whole show. I run the whole studio. Producer DMT is he's digitally in the studio, but he's kind of just there as a final stopgap, quality check, sending me stuff, whatever. I run all the elements. I run all the elements of the show right here, me, one person. So what happens is I then have to make measurements and decisions so that I can run the show as effectively as possible as one man. So again, this all gets back to budget and stuff. If I get to a point where I can hire somebody to be in studio with me every day or hire a crew to run the show so that I don't have to run the show, then we can start doing stuff like that. We can start adding different, technical capabilities and expanding the show in that regard. So it's like, that's something we should probably consider, but I'm only in month number 6. Maybe after a year, that's something we can expand and do. I just don't have the capacity to add any more elements and run the show effectively. So that's what I try to do here is just compact everything as much as possible so that I can run the show effectively. And the more different elements and stuff you add, that's what ends up happening. So I understand it's frustrating for me that my current production system can't bring in Rumble rants, but it is what it is. The systems that I would use to bring in Rumble rants add another element, and then it takes away from the quality of the show. So that's why that is. Yeah, those sudden emergency late night streams are cool. We need full-time upbeat coverage, Owen. What else is left? Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. I think we were pretty good today, though. We weren't really black-pilled today. The late night streams, people always get these wild ideas in their head. It's just annoying. Sandy said pool party. Now, that's a little tougher to pull off, but I think we could. I think if anybody could do it, it'd be me. It'd be us, if anybody can do it. All right. All right, it's officially the weekend now. This is actually the official beginning of the weekend right here. Once the Owen Report signs off, now your full weekend can begin. All right? There you go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats. We got a late entry. Hire AJ. He knows how to build a studio and run it. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I want y'all to have a great weekend. That's in order. We'll do it all again Monday. Don't forget to hit the hype button on Owen's videos. Yeah. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on X. Follow us on Rumble. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Help us build the show. Thank you for tuning in. Love you. Godspeed. God bless.